There will be now an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. We may be seated. Statement by members. Are there any member statement? Honorable Mashilo.
Thank you, Speaker. The ANC-led government is working very hard to bring the peoples closer to the quality universal health coverage through the National Health Insurance, and is improving the quality of the public health sector as the backbone for a future unified national health system. We congratulate the Health Department partnered with Wits University at the newly opened oncology unit at the Rob Ferreira Hospital in Mbombela. The unit currently boasts 6 beds for each patient and has already begun the much-needed treatment of cancer patients. Mpumalanga province currently does not have oncologists, hence the partnership with Wits University. The university, combined with Rob Ferreira Hospital, have identified a need to offer oncology services, and cancer patients will now have access to services such as chemotherapy closer to home. The launch of the unit is a big achievement for the people of Mpumalanga, and they will no longer travel long distance in order to receive treatment. We appreciated the job well done by Department of Health and will always give the necessary support as when it is needed highly. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC Manzini.
Ngiyabonga, Honorable Speaker, ngibonge kumhlonishwa uMashilo. Sithathe ithuba njenge-Department of Health, sibonge uPremier for i-support yakhe, sibonge futhi ne-Wits University ukuthi basupporte ukuthi finally as a province nathi sibe naye le oncology unit la bantu bakithi batokhona ukuthi bancedakale khona. Kube mnanzi kakhulu ukubona the first patient isho ukuthi mina ngisuka igame. Ordinarily bekutofuna ngihambe ngejozi ngithathe 2-3 days, but namuhla ngifike ekseni ngabo 3 o'clock ndoba sengijikile ngekhaya ngoba le treatment ndoba ngitholile. So sibonga kakhulu kule achievement lebe khona, sisho ukuthi siyathemba ukuthi Honorable Premier utoqhubeka support njenge department ukuze ukuthi siqhubeke sinikede nalawo ama services lato nceda abantu bakithi, especially ngale sifo se cancer, because kuyasho ukuthi njalo bathi cancer ngiletinye letifo letihlasela abantu bakithi, especially abantu lababuye emakhaya. So lokuvula kwale unit kutawunceda abantu bakithi baseMpumalanga. Ngiyabonga, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Any other member statement? Honorable Tabete.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Sinhlangano le busako i-African National Congress sikhathateka kakhulu nge-paper kule mincele le yalamavele esakhelane nawo njengabo Swatini nabo Mozambique, kanye futhi nalenkinga lekhona manje yabantu bethu lababuya emaveni angaphandle. Asivumelani nekuthi bantu bakithi balusane nebantu labachamuka emaveni angaphandle ngobe nathi la eMzasi sinetihlobo nebangani lebasamaveni angaphandle. Kodwa sikhondema noma asikufuni lokuthi labantu bangaphandle bete batopha abantwana bethu ema-drugs, bahlukubete bantu besifazane kanye nebantwana, babatshontshe bahambe bayobayendisa mikhuba lemibi. So sicela ukuthi i-Department ye-Safe iside ukuthi ake kunciphe letigameko letenteka la emingceleni. Sikhulume kakhulu ngendzaba ukuthi lapha eNkomazi kuthuthwa timoto tiwele kudlula ama drugs kudluliswa abantwana kudluliswa bomake. So uma uthi uyayilandzela lendzaba bathi ukuthi it's a national competence abakhoni ukuthi bathathe tinqumo kahle njenge province. So sicela ukuthi le bahlangana khona ku national nabo MEC bonke bala emzasi bakhone kudila ngale issue so that bantu bakithi batithole baphephile, but bantu bokuhamba abasihloniphe nathi kuze sibahloniphe bayekele lemikhuba lemibi lebayendako ngobe ngeke sivume ukuthi bahlukubede emaphoyisa ethu siyawahlonipha bona bayawashaya. Kanti thina bantu bakithi ngesikhathi selibandlululo noma bebasemaveni abo bebahlala etinkampo bebangaphumi bahambe banzinze yonke lenzawo njengaloku lemikhuba lemibi lebayenda la eSouth Africa. Ngiyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable MEC Shabalala.
Ngibonge Somlomo. Angisho ukuthi kuliciniso ukuthi sinetinkinga lapha kuma borders nalapha kwavula khona tincanco ukuthi bantu bakithi basizakale ngoba abasasizakali sekudlula timoto lokubugebengu lokho. Indvo lesilona kakhulu si Department of Community Safety in the province. I-challenge lesibanayo ngilayishilo ke umhlonishwa ukuthi it's a national competency, but siyahlalisana lapha sihlangana khona sisonke sithathe tinqumo so soloku sifaka siyenda show ukuthi indzaba levakalako ngoba iyasihlupha. Bara ngibonge futhi ukuthi province yethu yaseMpumalanga isengakabaleke digigabeni lapha sishaya khona abantu bokuhamba sibahlukumeda. Kodwa nabo njoba asho umhlonishwa kuyofuna ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi masisebenta si department sicheke ukuthi ngabe balanga lokuvumelekile ngabe nemabhizinisi anabo labanawo avumelekile nokuthi abasihluphe tindzabeni tematizakwamiva ngoba indzaba yetizakwamiva isihlupha sonke futhi into lengahle icikelele ifuture yeSouth Africa eMpumalanga phansi ngoba kuhlukumezeka kakhulu bani labasha. Ngiyabonga ukuthi uyivetile indzaba lesihleli tukwayo indzaba lesosebenta tukwayo ngaso sonke isikhathi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable. Any other member statement? Honorable Lakshmi Narain.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the African National Congress, I would like to congratulate the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environmental Affairs for promoting women in the agriculture field in our province. The department recently held the Female Awards in Nelspruit to honor women who proved to be exceptionally outstanding in agriculture in different categories. The center of attraction was the 31-year-old Kulilile Malalela, who struggled from being an ordinary farm worker to a successful farm owner in the province. This young woman from Middleburg won several awards in other categories, including Mpumalanga's 2019 Female Farmer of the Year. This award made her 3 million rand richer. Honorable Speaker, it is indeed encouraging to both the youth and women in particular to have such women with great interest in this male-dominated industry. The Department of Agriculture must indeed be applauded for these great achievements. We encourage the department to create more job opportunities, especially for women in the agriculture economy. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable MEC Shongwe, the Leader of Government Business.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu Somlomo, ngibonga kumhlonishwa ngisho ukuthi sivumelana naye abantu besifazane babamba iqhaza elikhulu kakhulu ku agriculture la eMpumalanga. Uma sikhuluma nje ngoma Mahlalela obe i-overall winner nase national uphinde futhi wazuza okuthile lokho kusho ukuthi ngempela eziMpumalanga siku direction right sicugcuzele kakhulu abantu besifazane ukuthi ababuyi sithi phezulu komkhono omlimi sibe nabo futhi ku Fortune 40 bakhona abancane bo Fortune 40 bayasebenza. Sibonga kakhulu umhlonishwa kuyasigcugcuzela lokho uma ngabe khona abahlonishwa ababonako ukuthi uhulumende wamama uRefilwe Mthweni Tsipane uyasebenza through lama department. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable. Any other member statement? Honorable Grove.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to deliver a statement on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Honorable Speaker, Chapter 29, 1 of our Constitution states that everyone has the right, A, to basic education, including adult basic education, and B, to further their education, which the state, through reasonable measures, must make progressively available and accessible. Honorable Speaker, it has come to the DA's attention that the ordering of textbooks for the 2020 academic year has hit another bump on the road. The Mpumalanga Department of Education sent out a memo to schools in the beginning of July, requesting school principals to place top-up orders for textbooks by no later than 26 July. Further noting, Honorable Speaker, that the department already reported that this target was met according to their first quarterly report. It must be noted, Honorable Speaker, that the Education Department in the Western Cape sent their memo on the ordering of textbooks in April, and orders for 2020 were placed by 7 June already. Honorable Speaker, with the department being behind in the capturing and placing of orders, the question is, will the learners of Mpumalanga schools receive textbooks by the start of the 2020 academic year? And how is the MEC planning to close this gap and ensure each learner has the required study material for each subject? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC Majuba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let's appreciate the member for the statement. We would like to accept and appreciate that education is a basic right for all learners in the country. And we also believe that it is necessary for all learners to have access to textbooks. That is why we work very hard to retrieve from the schools, because some learners, when they get textbooks, at the end of the year, such textbooks are supposed to be retrieved from those learners so as they can be given to learners who are going to come to the next class. And as such, that is why we make sure that we budget a top-up amount so as we can be able to deal with that kind of a situation. I believe that the issue of textbooks in the Department of Education is under control. I hope and believe, I want to assure Honorable Member that by next year, everything will be fine. There is no need for her to panic. We're under control in terms of issues of textbooks and education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Any other member statement? Honorable Nyembe.
Honorable Speaker and the House at large, good afternoon. Speaker, I rise on behalf of the EFF to give a member statement about the dire situation of MLO activity for the disabled. That center is not suitable for our brothers and sisters living with disability. In the first place, it is situated less than 100 meters to the graveyard. It is not accessible for wheelchair usage, and lendawo ayihlukile kunehoko lezilwane. The fundamental mission of Mpumalanga provincial government is, I quote, to provide equitable, integrated, and quality sustainable services in partnership with stakeholders to eradicate poverty and protect vulnerable groups in all communities in Mpumalanga, close quote. Speaker, how on earth can this center survive with a 180,000 budget for the whole year, while taking care of 50 beneficiaries? They should buy groceries, pay maintenance, repair, and buy stationery and pay stipends. No wonder it is so filthy. They are unable to buy cleaning materials and they can't afford a stipend for a cleaner. The very little subsidy arrives late and there's no transport for this vulnerable sector. Honorable Speaker, the EFF will actively and materially support the initiative to organize and mobilize the disability sector so that it can constantly and integrally communicate its concerns and amplify its voice in society, guided by the principle, nothing about us without us. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable MEC Shaw.
Somlomo siyabonga kakhulu statement lesiphakamiswa EFF asisho ukuthi nathi sibukile simo sale center, and at the same time sithi with the little resources that we have at our disposal share in terms of the budget allocating lama centers. So, and we want to promote ama centers rely only on the government subsidy, but also source funding from other institutions like the private sector, because le budget le lesinayo incane ayikwadi ukuthi ingabanelisa bonke. In terms of cleanliness, when I follow up to make sure ukuthi layer center layer it clean. It's up to them to make sure, because this is not the only center lesi supporta nge subsidy, but other centers are clean. It depends on them. They must make sure labahleli khona baya cleaner with the minimal resources that they get from us as government. But we'll do a follow up to make sure baya cleaner and everything goes well. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Now moving to executive statements. Are there any executive statements? Honorable Sedibe, I did not note you, and no, Honorable Sedibe, you know the law that I must take, in terms of the rules and orders. No, Honorable Sedip, executive statements are for MECs. No, Honorable Sedip, executive statements are for MECs as per the rules and orders. So, Honorable Webb.
Honorable Speaker, if I may please come in, let's remind Honorable Sedibe that the decision of the presiding officer is
But
final.
who recognized you?
The presiding
Who
officer has
recognized
made
you?
a decision.
You can't just rise as if you are a holy. What?
No,
Who
the
recognized
speaker
you?
is recognized.
I'm saying before you go to the executive statement, there's a hand there on member statement. Just recognize that hand.
Honorable Sedip.
The rules say you can take 5 from the house, and you are still at number 4. Take that hand there.
No, Honorable Sedibe, that is why I was reminding you of rules and orders, that as per the rules,
But
I must take 5.
uphakamisile before executive statement. Why umsuppress ka?
Honorable Sedibe, let us not fight against the
Oh,
rules,
usafuna
the rules
ukukhuluma
and orders.
mlungu. Ngilwena wena mlungu awufuna ukukhuluma.
Honorable Sedibe, we are not the spokesperson of FF+. Thank you very much. We are now moving to notices of motion. Are there any notices of motions? No, my apology. Motions without notice. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Mlombo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to move a motion without notice to pass our sincere condolences on the passing on of the struggle icon, the former President Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Noting that President Mugabe led the revolution to liberate the people of Zimbabwe from the dictatorship of Ian Smith, oppressive regime. We, the ANC, the people of Mpumalanga and South Africa as a whole, we want to join the millions of people who are mourning the untimely death of this struggling icon. May his revolutionary soul rest in eternal peace. So I move. Thank you.
Thank you. The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? Yes, so agreed. Any other motion? Any other motions without notice? Honorable Makaringe.
To move a motion without notice on behalf of the ANC to welcome the conviction of Themba Thubani by Judge Sheila Mphahlele with 2 life terms and a further 5 years in prison. Thubani murdered a teen with albinism and a cousin in Hlalanikahle in Mpumalanga. Gabisile Shabane and Nkosikhona Ngwenya suffered gruesome pain at the hands of these unscrupulous men who were blinded by greed for money. Noting that the headless and mutilated body of 13-year-old Shaban was found buried in a shallow grave in Cullinan in the east of Pretoria, whilst the body of 15-month-old Ngwenya was found in a river on the side of the N4 in Emalahleni. Further noting that Thubani said he wanted his traditional healer to help him with muti to make his struggling business of renting tents flourish, and he was advised by his traditional healer to get a child with albinism. Judge Mphahlele indicated this to the ridiculous. Thubani is a teacher by profession who holds a bachelor degree in education, but he had the audacity to kill innocent children because of greed. I therefore move that this House appreciate the hefty sentence by Judge Mphahlele and on the same breath caution our communities to refrain from thinking that people with albinism can be source of their success. Justice will be severely dispensed to anyone who violate other people's rights. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? Yes, so agreed. Thank you very much. Any other motions without notice? Honorable Grove Morgan.
Thank you. Honourable Speaker, I hereby rise to move a motion without notice on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Honourable Speaker, we would like the House to congratulate the DA's whip, Honourable Bosman Grobler, for being the only member out of 9 provincial legislatures selected to represent the South African Parliamentary Rugby Club at the 2019 Interparliamentary World Cup in Japan. The DA is proud of Honourable Grobler for this milestone. Being selected the only MPL out of 9 provincial legislatures to represent South Africa at such an event is an achievement not only to Honourable Grobler, but to the Democratic as well. Honourable Grobler is a distinguished member of the South African Parliamentary Rugby Club, SAPRC, a club that consists of members of Parliament and members of provincial legislatures from different party staff from the library committees, household services, communications, alongside bodyguards and ex-MPs who are included under the rules allowing guest players. From the 2019 Parliamentary Rugby World Cup, SAPRC is sending 32 representatives to Japan. Honourable Grobler is the only one selected from provincial legislature, while the rest are from the National Assembly. The 2019 Interparliamentary World Cup Games will be played at the city of Yokohama from 13 until the 20th of September. The Games include a total of 300 players representing 10 legislatures from South Africa, New Zealand, France, Wales, Scotland, England, Ireland, Argentina, Australia, and the host, Japan. SAPRC takes part in the Interparliamentary Rugby World Cup, which takes place every 4 years, just before the IRB Rugby World Cup. IRB means International Rugby World Cup. The SAPRC first took place in the inaugural Parliamentary Rugby World Cup, which was held in Cape Town in 1995. In 2011, they became the runner-ups to New Zealand. They also participated in the 2015 Parliamentary World Cup in the United Kingdom, which was eventually won by the Australian Parliamentary Sporting Club. Australia is the current champions.
Round up, honorable member.
Okay, the DA wishes SAPRC all the luck in Japan this year, and we hope they can defeat their nemesis, Australia and New Zealand, to bring the trophy home. As such, I move that the House congratulates Honorable Grobler for representing all of us in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you. The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
Uyadlala Grobler.
Agree to? I can't hear
Not
you,
agreed.
honorable
Angazi
members.
ngibona adlala rugby.
Assist as agreed to?
No. Akambe ubona ama colonizers
The
akubule.
motion
Uyarona.
stays defeated.
Not agreed. Uyobona ama colonizers akubule.
Any other motion
Sunamhlaba
without
la
notice?
ubhizi uyarona.
Honorable Sedibi, before I recognize you, let me just remind you about Rule 34, which says that every member desiring to speak must stand while addressing the presiding officer unless he or she is unable to do so due to his or her ability. Please, when you want to talk to me or to address, will you please respect Rule 34?
Noted. Ndakutshela makusho ukuthi nginenkinga. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ngisukuma njengelunga le hlangano EFF lelihlonipheke kakhulu kundlula wonke amalunga la khona. Kuncoma umsebenzi lo wendiwe iZondo Commission ngokuthi ubambe bomasipala labayi-12 bala eMpumalanga ukuthi ba-account ngenkohlakalo nokulahleka kwetimali nokutshontsha kwetimali kulabo masipala kusukisela ngo-2008 until 2018 lekufaka esiphakathi bomasipala.
Okay, thank you.
In a motion,
Honorable.
Point of order. You will only agree or disagree.
I'm raising a point of
There's
order.
no point
Honourable
of order
Speaker.
in a motion. There's no such thing.
Honorable member, would you please
please
take your
recognize
seat?
me?
Well, now the option is you agree or disagree, Chief. Don't misbehave here.
But you're misleading the
Don't
House.
come with your tendencies.
Honorable member, please respect me.
No,
May you please,
but-
no, may you please take your seat? You cannot talk directly to the member, but through me.
Yeah,
Will you
through
please
your
take your
speak.
seat?
Yes.
Then, so that I can be able to hear the point of order.
Awumlaleli next,
No,
umlalela ini.
no, honorable.
Akana right yokukhuluma mangikhuluma ku-motion without notice. Maybe kulokunye ya, not here. La he must just sit and listen.
But
Uma
Honourable
ngafuna
Speaker,
ukulalela, akavale
you can
tele.
give me an
Please sit
opportunity,
down.
please.
No,
Sit
no,
down.
no, but buka sosukumile.
The
No,
member
sit
must sit
down,
down.
sit down so that I can be
But
able.
Sukumile, tell him to sit down. This
No,
is my
because-
platform.
But
We
you
have
don't want to
recognized me was
respect.
wangifundzela Rule 34. Kuthi kumele ngime ngetinya. Protect me, Speaker.
And I've made a ruling to you
Consulta
and
lapho
say,
kule legal
would
team
you
yakho.
please
It-
sit down, Honorable Sedibe?
But for what?
No, I'm
For a point of
ruling
order.
as
You
the
are misleading
presiding
the
Akuna
officer.
point of order motion
Sit
without
down, please.
notice. For what?
No, I will not explain to you.
You must explain for what.
No,
Because
no,
you
no.
recognize
So
me
that
as a
I
woman.
can recognize and hear the
That is
honorable
not
that
done.
raised.
You
No,
must not
honorable,
recognize him.
No,
Why
Honorable
must you
Sedibe.
recognize him? Akwenziwa lokho motion without notice.
Honorable
It's not a
Sedibe.
debate. Yes, I mean, if I was debating, like snap debate, yes, you can rise and say,
Honorable
order.
Sedibe,
What
may
order?
you please sit down? I'm counting now.
Counting
3,
what? Counting what?
sit down. 2,
I must continue, not sit
may
down.
you sit down? 1, Honorable Sedibe.
What?
If you don't sit down, I will request you to leave the house.
But you cannot treat this
no,
house
we are
as your
not,
house.
you are not
You must follow your
respecting.
rules. No, but consult your
No,
legal team.
no,
Who's wrong between me and you?
No, I must be
You
able
must
to
tell
hear.
him you're talking a point of order. You don't hear anything.
Honorable
You hear anything
Setiba,
for
will you
what?
please leave the
You
house?
don't listen to him. You listen
No,
to him.
no,
Who
leave
recognize
the,
everyone,
leave,
Kanwan?
I said sit down
Who
and you don't
recognize
take
everyone?
ruling.
Didn't you
You know
recognize
that
me?
the rules and orders say that if the presiding officer is ruling, you need to listen.
What ruling are you
I
doing?
wanted to hear what is it that the honorable member want to
But
say.
then we are allowing him to speak, Pe. Once you listen to him, you hear what he said, then you have disrupted
I will
me.
make a ruling after I hear from him.
Okay. Let me hear you.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I'm rising in terms of Rule 38, which indicates that a member may not deliberately mislead the House. I want to submit that Honorable Sidibe is deliberately misleading the House by saying that the Zondo Commission have found that those municipalities have stolen money.
Order.
And the
Order on
Zondo
top of
Commission
order.
have not yet dealt with
You
those
speak.
municipalities. So the honourable member is deliberately
But who's
misleading
misleading
the
the House
House,
now? It's him.
and it's against
I
Rule
never
38
said-
of the rules and orders of this House. So
Okay.
he is out of order.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Honorable Mlombo. Honorable Sedibe, the point of order is sustained. Will you please continue or either?
No point of order that is sustained here. We are biased, wena man.
No, it's sustained
We are very
because
much biased, man. Lalela, ngithe kuwe, akana right
Honorable
ukukhuluma lo muntu.
Sedibe, will you please
Yeah, man.
continue with what you are saying?
Yeah,
If you are
but
not
you are wrong.
continuing,
You
no,
must-
no, no,
you
no,
must
no,
be
no.
impartial. I will
No,
run-
no, you must
I will
stop.
run kahle then.
No,
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 I will
no,
run
no.
properly.
No, I'm running it
This is a
properly.
motion without notice.
Continue with your
Empineni,
motion.
We are going to test us as a house, whether we
Continue.
agree or not agree.
Continue.
So why do you give someone, now Majo is him who's misleading the house.
Honourable
I
Sadiq.
never said the Zondo Commission has already found the municipality guilty. I said he wrote to them to request accountability. And I was
No.
still continuing.
Honorable
Because
Sadiq.
he want to cover corruption, then he jumped the gun.
No,
and we
Honorable
protect
Sadiq.
him. You must protect
No,
me as well. You
ungayoni
must be
lento,
partial.
no, ungayoni lento.
Wo
Will you
yona?
please continue or either
Wo
you will
yona?
leave
Okay, let me
the
continue.
house?
Don't do that. You'll make your work difficult. The sixth parliament is just beginning. I'm
Hon-
telling you.
Honor-
If you
Honorable
continue
Sadiq.
like this,
Honorable Sadiq, I'm having our rules here.
I'm telling you.
Yes, we are
The
a
EFF
legislature and
also
we are
noted
dealing with
the-
rules
I'm
and
on the
orders.
platform now.
Will you please
Can you give me a
continue?
chance?
Continue.
You have recognized me.
I said
Give
continue.
me the chance. The EFF also noted that the non-cooperation of this municipality with the Commission of Inquiry in order to hide some critical information. And as the EFF, we committed to the Commission that we will make all the necessary required information available. And we will be available to testify to the Commission because we have been reporting these corrupt and fraud activities to the law enforcement agencies around Mpumalanga, which is happening in all the 20 municipalities. And we hope and believe that it is the beginning of things and heads shall roll. The 12 municipalities include Chief Albert Ultuli, Dr. Jess Moroka, Tembisi Leani, Pixley Gaseme, Likwa, Tabachewu, to name a few. But we are more worried as the EFF that the 4 biggest municipalities, which is Bushbuck Ridge,
May you please
which is
round up?
well known as a haven of corruption, and Emalahleni and Governing, they have not been mentioned here because these municipalities are the milking cows of the ANC leaders, and that's where corruption is taking place.
May you
and
please
service
round up?
delivery finances are robbed. And thank you very much. I so move. You can agree or disagree, defender of corruption now.
Any question? The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion or not. The motion stays defeated. Any other motions without notice? Honorable Shongwe?
Somlomo ngiyabonga. Ngithanda ukusukuma ngiphakamise imotion la African National Congress sikhuda umkhuba lomubi we-gender based violence. Sibonile kulamalanga ladlulile lapho umfundzi wase Cape Town uyinene lo beka student University of Cape Town la abulawe khona ngumuntu wesilisa. Simbonile futhi na Baby Lee lo beka iboxer lapha Eastern Cape naye futhi lobulewe singani sakhe. Sithandza ukuthi kubomake ikakhulu kubomake kanye nemadvodzakade ake sukumeni, mothers and daughters rise so that we can fight the scourge of violence. Sikhala kakhulu ngoba labantwana bayi future yale country yethu. Kahle kahle kusho ukuthi bantwana bemantombazane uma kufa labantwana bemantombazane ngeke kusaba nesive. Ngakho ke sikuphakamiseni lo sonke simalunga eshaya mthetho la siya khona sibamba imbizo nani legislature nanenda oversight yenu sicela ukuthi sonke asikhulumeni sibanga umsindo sikhudeni. At the same time let us protect our young girls and sicele futhi nemaphoyisa siwabonge futhi sibonile ukuthi adlale inzima yokuthi leti gebengu leti tiboshwe. Siyakhala sibomake asisukumeni sisupporteni sibambise labantwana basema universities njengoba sibabonile bamacha batikhalela kepha sebadzinga thine bomake kanye nabobabe ukuthi asisukumeni siukhuteni lomhlola lo wendeka la kuleli live lakithi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. The question before the House is whether we agreed to adopt the motion. Agreed to? So agreed. Thank you very much. We're now moving to notices of motions. Are there any notices of motions? Yes. Honorable Mlombo.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to table a notice of motion for debate in the next sitting of the legislature in terms of Rule 84.2 of the Rules and Orders of the House that we debate the National Health Insurance. The National Health Insurance Bill, which is now set for public comments, has firmly set the path towards the fulfillment of the Freedom Charter demand, which states that, I quote, "There shall be equal and quality care for the people." The ANC moves that we fully debate the progress the country has made towards the fulfillment of the national health insurance goals, specifically concentrating on the following. Number one, the advantages that the national health insurance will bring in bridging the gap between the poorly funded public health care system versus
Point
the
of
private
order.
care
Point of
system.
order.
Number two,
Point of order.
the funding
Okay.
model of the
Point
national
of
health
order.
insurance.
Mlombo, will you please sit down? Honorable Seti.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. In notice of motion, you request the House with your debater limits. Already so we highlighted, good is your debater in NHI. It ends there. What he's doing now is debating. He's now debating the Luenja. So you just raise the motion for debate and it's noted and then next sitting we debate the matter. Maje maso
Okay,
balabo
Honor-
point 1, point 2, point 3. So we are debating.
Oh,
And
no,
we are
Honorable
disadvantaging
Sedibe.
us because we have not prepared for the
Okay.
debate.
Okay, will you please
That's the
sit down?
point of order.
Okay,
And that's in order.
okay. Honorable Sedibe, the order is not sustained. Will you please continue?
Oh,
Honorable
and then
Speaker.
says you are debate.
Honorable Speaker,
No,
let me
he's
indicate.
not debated.
No, but so
It's upon-
balabo point 1, 2, 3.
No, Honorable
Yes, it's
Sedibe.
on number 2 now.
Continue, Honorable Member.
But say we are debating, Honorable Speaker. You just say we want us to debate
Continue.
this.
Honorable
Honorable-
Speaker, let me indicate that this notice of motion is not moved by the EFF, it's moved by the African National Congress. And as
We
such,
move via
I would
parliament.
indicate,
I will move a hot quarter as ANC.
Honorable
can I
Sedibe,
be protected?
La-
Honorable
Honorable
Speaker?
Sedibe, please.
Our legislature, we all exist here.
Honorable
I've seen
Sedibe,
only-
we are not respecting the House.
Early to the House.
No, no,
You
no,
are
no,
but
no.
you must
You
call
need
him
to
to order.
respect. Please, don't do what you are doing.
Honorable Speaker, as I close, we want the House to debate how the NHI will improve the infrastructure and the lives of our people to be better. So I move. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Formal motions? Oh, okay. Honorable Sadiq.
Notices of motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the EFF to request this House, this august House, to debate the conduct and the fitness of the Speaker in this office, in his next sitting, to debate whether we must do a vote of no confidence for you in terms of your impartiality. I so move. You must note it, put it there.
Okay, Honorable Sedibe, motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Yes, the Speaker will not be. If the Speaker is pointing you out of order, then it's not competent. Okay, honorable members, we're now moving to formal motions. I am informed that there are no formal motions. We will now proceed with the orders of the day. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number, excuse me, order number 1, snap debate on Heritage Day.
I have a speakers list in front of me. Honorable L.L. Jalinjali from the ANC, 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me acknowledge the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Legislature, the Honorable Premier of the Mpumalanga Province, Mayor Tsipane, Honorable members of the Executive Council, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, the Chairperson of the Education, Culture, Sports and Recreation Portfolio, the Honorable members of the Legislature, the acting DG, the heads of departments, and our guests in the gallery. Honorable Speaker, the World Heritage is celebrated every year on the 18th of April to raise awareness about preserving human heritage, diversity, vulnerability of the world's monument and heritage site. This year, we are celebrating our National Heritage Day in the Northern Cape that is planned nationally. As a province, we'll be also commemorating the provincial heritage on the 24th. This year's heritage seeks to promote literature as a custodian of the South African heritage, instill love and respect for South African indigenous language, ukuze speaker sikhone ukuthi sikhulume ngesikithi, siphinde abantu basizwe basithande, siphinde futhi sifundise neingane zethu ukuze zikhulume isikhethu noma sitsitsite noma umXhosa uthethe ukuze abantwana bazi imvelaphi yethu, ngoba sinenkinga yokuthi ingane zethu sezifunda ngesilungu, isintu sesiyalahleka. Siphinde futhi sidevelope iculture yokuthi ingane zethu zikwazi ukusifunda nokusibhala lesintu ngoba siyalahleka isintu sethu. We must also, Honorable Speaker, celebrate and recognize also our classical writers who are writing in terms of the indigenous language. Also, she promoted the social cohesion and nation building and safer communities. Ngoba uma kungasiyithi esifundisayo siyilitiko, bantu bakithi bazozondana, njengoba namhlanje sicwasana ngokobuhlanga ukuthi abantu bahamaphandle noma umndebele noma umswati. The awareness is aimed to promote and protect and conserve the importance of the human heritage, diversity, and our world monuments. In 1996, the President, Uptata Madiba, in his speech said Heritage Day should help South Africa to use their rich and varied culture heritage to build a new nation. So as government, in 1995, we celebrated Ubaba Usontonga as the author of a national anthem. This year's theme, as we celebrate the 25 years democracy, our theme towards heritage is 25 years of democracy, celebrating South Africa's literary classic in the year of indigenous language. Honorable Speaker, this month of September should be filled with various stages of events.
41 seconds left.
Those events should make sure that we have the presence in our communities, our essential promotion in terms of preservation of our culture, and some of our iconic heritage sites, and also like your Pilgrim Rest, Barberton, your Mkhatshwa Mountain. Also celebrate our cultural traditions and our oral history, arts and arts performance, rituals, indigenous knowledge, and also the likes of our organic intellectuals, Dr. Ugogo Esther Mahlangu. Naye simcelebrate ingane zethu ziyahluleka ukukhuluma, asebenziseni abantu abakhona abalaziyo ilimi lethu.
Time up.
Siyabonga, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Don't be a woman
Honorable
abuser.
member.
Time up.
Thank you,
Time
honorable
up.
member. The second speaker will be Honorable NP Mkhabela from the EFF. 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As the EFF would like to appreciate the beauty and scenery of our province, Mpumalanga. We are very proud of Sudwala Caves in Nelspruit, Mkhatshwa Mountain in Barberton, Ngwenya River, and the God's Window in Graskop, etc. The EFF would like to encourage all our people to protect and jealously guard these heritage sites. We are also happy to have Kruger National Park in our province, which is the Africa's most biggest park and second in the world. However, as the EFF, we are very much concerned that 25 years down the line into democracy, we still name such institution after colonial settlers and apartheid architect like Paul Kruger, and this must come to an end, and that Kruger National Park be named after Skukuza. We are also worried that even our only airport, which was built under the democratic dispensation, it also named after the very same colonial master and architect of apartheid who brutally killed and raped our sisters and mothers. As EFF, Honorable Speaker, we call upon the Honorable Premier and the MEC of Sport, Art and Culture to change with immediate effect the names of these two institutions. Here are the relevant names for these institutions. KMIA, to be named after Tokoma Bena, who was the member of this August House who died on duty while abroad. Kruger National Park, to be named after Skukuza. In conclusion, I tinyongudiseni indavuko xikan'we na swakudya swa xintu ku sirhelela mavabyi lawa ma nga koho etikweni leri hi hanyaka ka rona. Swakudya leswi faneleke hi swi dya, xikombiso ku nga va swakudya swo fana na timbavi, xiendlahivomu, maxonja, muroho na byala lebyi endliwaka kaya bya xintu na cancer.
Thank you, honorable member. The third speaker will be Honorable MC Masilela, 4 minutes from the ANC.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, distinguished guests, comrades and friends, ladies and gentlemen. Sanbonan. Honorable Speaker, I feel really honored to take part in this very important debate that will assist the people of Mpumalanga to remember the cultural heritage of the many cultures that make up the population of Mpumalanga and South Africa as a whole. Heritage Day is a South African public holiday celebrated on the 24th of September every year. On this day, South Africans across the spectrums are encouraged to celebrate their cultures and the diversity of their beliefs and traditions in the wider context of a nation that belongs to all its people. The roots of Heritage Day, however, precede 1995. The 24th of September was originally simply a Zulu holiday celebrated in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. It was a remembrance to Shaka, the great chief who united the Zulu tribes into a unified nation. The first South African Heritage Day was celebrated in 1995 after the country achieved its democracy. Honorable Speaker, over the past 25 years, the dignity of our people has been restored. The lives of South Africans have improved. We promoted nation building, social cohesion, and celebrated our diversity as a nation. We further pursued world peace as an African National Congress and advanced an agenda for a better Africa and a better world. It is for that background we celebrate the tangible heritage, which is concrete and can be touched, felt, or heard. We pride ourselves that after so many years of apartheid colonialism, we are at long last respected as humans, as Africans, and as global citizens. Colonialism is one of the most influential forces in modern times and has many long-lasting effects that will never truly go away. One of the areas where the effects of colonialism are most permanent is language. Unfortunately, it is very difficult to undo the extinction of a language, and it is hard to work to keep dying languages alive, especially when speakers of such languages have deserted them. Honorable Speaker, the challenges which we are facing today is the urgency to preserve all the cultural artifacts of South Africa and Africa. We also need to work very hard for the consolidation of enormous culture and heritage significance that have been destroyed, have disappeared, or even deteriorating because of natural aging.
Round up, please.
Climate influences and maintenance. We actually need the requisite skills and expertise to protect, restore, repair, conserve, and preserve them, to build conservation capacity in our museums, libraries, archives, and other cultural entities. South Africa is called a rainbow nation because of the many different languages, cultures, and race. As we approach the Heritage Day, we must take and give from each other on the basis of equality. Otherwise, certain languages will remain dominant and privileged. We need to encourage the constitutional provision of 11 official languages and the protection of all other languages spoken in our country. Honorable Speaker, let us encourage South Africans to celebrate their culture and the diversity of their beliefs and traditions in the wider context of a nation that belongs to all
Time up,
its
time
people.
up, time up,
I
time
thank
up,
you.
time up.
Honorable Setibe, no,
Yes.
no.
I'm
We are
assisting you.
disregarding the authority of the presiding officer.
I'm
What you
assisting
are
you.
doing, no.
I will not deputy, man.
No. You are now provoking me to go to Rule 40. Don't do that, because I'm doing my work and I'm doing as per the rules and procedures. Please. No. Will you please respect the decorum of the House? Thank you, Honorable Masilela. The next speaker is Honorable TMJ Grove Morgan.
Honorable Speaker, I am proud to stand here before you all and debate the upcoming Heritage Day. I do believe that having this privilege lies in the shared heritage of our country. Loosely defined heritage is the full range of our inherited traditions, monuments, objects, and culture. It is something which forms the basis of our teachings, upbringing, and behaviors, and because of which celebrating this day is of a huge significance. Till recent, the heritage of our province has been preserved well, and looking at small towns such as Pilgrim's Rest, the town of Bonnefoy, and the Botshabelo mission, to name but a few, we find that provincial government has abandoned them. As a province, let us preserve our heritage for those generations that is yet to come. I am proud of my heritage, my traditions, and my values, and how it has molded me into the person I am before you all today. And I also respect and value all of the different cultures in our province. The once revered Rainbow Nation reminded me of our strength in numbers. It reminded me that together we have the ability to remove unjust structures and fight for that which is right. To secure votes, many try to use our heritage as a means to divide us. But it is our unity as a nation, the only way in which we can effect change. On the 24th of September, let us promote our differences and call for unity in our country. Honorable Speaker, I condemn all acts of violence towards our brothers and sisters from other African countries. And it is a topic which really hurts me because our leaders and our freedom fighters once sought refuge in these countries without being killed and attacked. Being instrumental in our country's history and in our heritage, we need to promote acceptance and not hostility, and we need to ascertain the underlying causes. Honorable Speaker, in concluding, I believe that women in today's society go through a lot. They constantly must fear being raped, attacked, beaten, and also be wary of who they let into their lives. The number and severity of crimes against women in this province and in acts are wrong. Madoda niyasicela, sicela niyekele bantwa bethu. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Rove. The next speaker will be Honorable W.L. Weber from FF Plus. 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, 26,000 women and children died in the concentration camps during the reign. We rose beyond our anger, and when a new flag was designed, the Union Jack was included as part of the flag, as part of our history, as part of our whole system. Madam Speaker, we believe that, and we knew that we can't fix the past, but together, with mutual respect, we can build a better future. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Weber.
What about our
The
land?
next speaker is
Ngumhlaba wethu
Honorable
Weber, sifuna mhlaba Weber.
Mkhatshwa from the ANC, 4 minutes.
Thank you. My greetings to the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, members of the Executive, members of the Mpumalanga Provincial Legislature, members of the media, and members in the gallery. Indeed, Madam Speaker, this address will remind us of the first Heritage Day celebrations in 1996, when former President Nelson Mandela said, I quote, "Our rich and varied cultural heritage has a profound power to help build our new nation," I close quote. Heritage Day aims to redress the imbalances of the past colonial rule and apartheid legacy. Heritage Day seeks to recognize the gains of our democracy, enhance awareness of various cultural groups, and embrace, preserve, celebrates unique heritage such as cultural and natural sites. Madam Speaker, Heritage Month is when all South Africans come together to showcase one another's heritage, including cultural villages, landmarks, statues, monuments, indigenous rights, traditional food, oral history, cultural performances, indigenous knowledge systems, holistic approach to nature, social relationships, and wildlife. A living heritage promoting cultural diversity, social cohesion, reconciliation, and peace. It is important to capacitate our communities and institutions to become the beacon of hope in preserving the cultural and heritage resources of the Mpumalanga province and the country at large. It is important to accelerate the use of living heritage to address the triple challenges faced by our communities today, which include high unemployment rate, inequality and poverty. Madam Speaker, we have a role to safeguard our living heritage as a valuable resource for effective economic development. We need to ensure that tourist visits our museums, galleries, heritage sites, and cultural villages by making Mpumalanga province one of the best tourist destinations in South Africa. Madam Speaker, the best example that I have is the Barberton Mkhatshwa Mountain, which was declared as a World Heritage Site on the 2nd of July 2018 by UNESCO. We anticipate prolific results for economic development as a tourist destination, which will see reduced levels of poverty by creating employment and business opportunities for our communities through including, but not limited to, traveling agencies, local transportation, accommodation, food and beverage outlets, and the development of the Bulembu road infrastructure which connects us with Eswatini, and the geotrials for recreational purposes. Madam Speaker, our government should enforce high standards of practice and work with other stakeholders to ensure that all forms of heritage is sustainably protected for generations to come. I thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. That concludes the SNAP debate on Heritage Day. The Secretary shall read the second order of the day.
Order number 2, questions for oral reply to the Premier.
I have a question paper in front of me with questions for oral reply to the Premier. I am informed that the question paper was duly circulated to all members of the legislature. We will now proceed to questions for oral reply. The Honorable Premier, over to you, Mbogoto.
Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, Chief Whip, members of the Executive Council, the members of the Provincial Legislature, our officials, and our distinguished guests. Sanbonani. Honorable Speaker, we are here today to give account through the oral questions that have been posed before us by the honorable members of the legislature. I'll zoom straight to the first question, which has been asked by Honorable Sidibe from EFF. The question reads thus: Honorable Premier, in the 5th legislature, the House resolutions were passed about corruption that is happening at the legislature. The legislature's prerogative is oversight. There are many issues that beset this institution, which inter alia includes intermittent dysfunctional IT, frugal code, company, and a plethora of senior managers whose positions were filled and those managers who were dismissed were later exonerated by the courts. Have you ever sat down with the leadership of this institution and had information of what is said above? Because the AG noted irregular expenditure in the appointment of Frugal Coat and Genox. In response, Madam Speaker and honorable members, you must appreciate the fact that our system of government is premised upon 3 tiers, which are the judiciary, the executive, and parliament. This system is replicated in the provincial context, which accommodated the provincial legislature instead of parliament. Vested in each tier of government are roles and responsibilities which may not be ceded to another tier of government. For example, legislature seeks to provide oversight over the executive, whereas the executive is tasked with the administration of government and the delivery of services, and the judiciary is tasked with jurisprudence and determining the ambits of the powers exercised by other tiers of government.
Honorable Premier, will you please take your seat? Honorable Sedibelo, what's wrong?
There's nothing wrong. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Premier, with due respect, I'll ask you to disregard that question and not respond it and respond to other questions. The person who wrote that
Honor-
question is
No.
no longer there and was
Honorable-
fired for that.
Honorable
So,
Sedibe.
That's
Honorable
not my question,
Sedibe.
yes.
Honorable Sedibe, let me take you to Rule 37. It says that a member may not interrupt another member while speaking, except to put a question to such member or call attention to a point of order, a question of privilege, the presence of non-members on the floor of the House. So, when a point of order is raised, the member called to order must resume his or her seat. So what you are doing now, you interrupting the Honorable Premier. Why is she is on the floor? So you are giving me no other option but to revoke Rule 40. That will you please leave the House, because you are not respecting the decorum of the House. You can't interrupt a member while he is speaking. Leave the House, please.
But honestly speaking, I think on this one you didn't understand me. I'm saying I'm withdrawing the question. I saved the time. The Premier must not waste her time, because that question is not
No.
relevant.
Honorable Sedibe, you raised the question, and the Honorable Premier is responding to the question what you have raised. Then you interrupt the Honorable
No, I
Premier
didn't
while he's on
interrupt.
the...
I asked
no,
you.
no, 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 no.
You recognize
no,
me.
No, it was not a point of order.
What is
because you know Rule 37. So now, as per Rule
But
40,
I never said
will
point
you
of
please leave the House?
But I never said point of order.
It means that you were interrupting.
You know what is it? The Skatsa Hulman, the respond, the president, the relevant. Is the prim. That's what I'm saying. You didn't understand.
Leave the
me
House,
proper.
Honorable Sedibe,
For what?
for interrupting the Premier
I've
while
never
he's speaking.
interrupted
You
anybody.
interrupted him. You interrupted
No,
her,
no,
my apology.
No. I'm withdrawing a question. Is withdrawing a question an interruption? Yeah? That question does not find solace, it not exist, must go out.
Just a minute, Honorable. I'm talking
Please.
with
Yeah.
legal
I've
here.
never.
Okay, uzawuhlala usinda. They advise me that you have a right to withdraw.
Karar.
Quiet. Oh, uyabona now uyangiphazamisa futhi. Uyabona ke? Ngizobuyela back because now you are interrupting me as the presiding officer. Just listen and respect the decorum of the House and respect me while I'm speaking. Okay, thank you very much. I've been advised that you have the right to withdraw here, while but you were supposed to do it before the Premier is trying to respond to the question. Just for that advice, you will remain in the House. Thank you very much. Honorable Premier, you can continue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for acceding to the request. And thanks to the Honorable Member, because this definitely does not fall within the ambit of my responsibility. The next question is from Honorable R.J. Sitole from DA. I don't know, I stand to be advised, Honorable Speaker, because I don't see her here.
Honorable Premier, I did not receive anything on the side of the DA, whether is there anyone who is taking responsibility in that question. It means that you may not proceed with that question.
Okay.
Honorable Grovemogen, I've received only one letter from the EFF. When, Honorable?
On the 6th. Yeah, two of them for Sitole and for Grobler. I have copies of them.
Okay, would you please,
The letter, it's please allow Honorable TMJ Khrovia Morgan to take over my responsibilities in the sitting and committee meetings.
okay, I will check with the office, but I could not receive it. I've only received one a letter from the EFF. Okay. Let me just check the letter. Okay, thank you very much. You will stand on behalf of all the members. Thank you very much. Honorable Premier, you can continue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The question reads, with regards to the Department of Education HOD, Ms. Mahlasedi Mhlabane, has allegedly been suspended over corruption allegations. Can the Honorable Premier indicate the following? How was the alleged misconduct identified, and what type of misconduct is Ms. Mhlabane being charged with? In response, the allegations of misconduct were reported by the whistleblower and the opposition in this House, and due to the seriousness of the allegations, an investigation was conducted to ascertain whether there was substance to the allegations or not. How far the investigation into Ms. Mhlabane's alleged misconduct? The investigation has been concluded, and indeed, there was substance to the matter which led to Ms. Mhlabane being charged with misconduct. When does the Honorable Premier foresee this matter to be resolved? The matter pertaining to Ms. Mhlabane has been concluded, and a decision has been taken that her contract is not going to be renewed. Who is handling the investigation into the alleged misconduct by Ms. Mhlabane? The Office of the Premier, through the Integrity Management Unit Directorate, oversaw the investigation. To date, how much has the suspension of Ms. Mhlabane cost? Please give a detailed breakdown of all costs involved. There were no cost implications to the administration, since government appointed a serving official to act in her position and Ms. Mhlabane's 10% allowance was terminated in line with the SMS handbook. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Any follow-up questions? Okay. Any other follow-up question from other members? Thank you very much. You can proceed, Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The next question is from Honorable F.V. Mlombo. During the last taking legislature to the people program in Govan Begi local municipality, the issue of sewer spillage and water spillage surfaced very often. During the State of the Province address, a recommitment was made in dealing with sanitation infrastructure in this municipality. Research has also revealed that municipalities such as Emalahleni and Emakhazeni are also experiencing the same problems of water and sewer spillages. Can the Honorable Premier provide progress made thus far in dealing with the sanitation infrastructure and sewer spillage in Govan Begi local municipality? In response, Madam Speaker, there has been tremendous progress with regards to the implementation of the projects in the Govan Begi local municipality. Of the total 19 projects that were identified for intervention within the municipality, 11 of those projects have already been completed, whilst 2 of them are still under implementation, whereas 7 are still at the design stage. The Department of Human Settlement is the appointed implementing agent for the province in this municipality, whilst COCTA is supporting the municipality to fund some of this project through the MIG funding, and our private sector partner, Sasol, has refurbished, upgraded some of the pump stations. Can the Honourable Premier share with this House the possible challenges experienced, which was not expected in dealing with sewer spillages and sanitation infrastructure in Govan-Bheki? The major concerning issue is the electricity outages in the area due to load shedding, as the municipality has considerable outstanding debts with Eskom. What happens during load shedding is that the pumps that were already refurbished end up malfunctioning due to lack of electricity, which degravitates the pumping of sewer from the pump station back to the main holes and to the houses of the residents. This becomes an unprecedented challenge in the areas of infrastructure that was already sorted, as the spillages resurface back into original state even after the interventions have happened. It becomes an indirect challenge which is not necessarily caused by the issue that were identified, but the continued load shedding due to Eskom issues. These are partly issues unexpected in the project that makes it difficult to continue without interruptions. Can the Premier briefly indicate some areas affected by sewer spillages around the province, and what is it that the generic plan by the provincial government? Madam Speaker, the areas that are affected by sewer spillages, in addition to Govan-Bheki, includes Likwa local municipality, wherein some manholes were blocked and eventually collapsed as a result of wastewater treatment plant not being functional. To date, a remarkable amount of work has been carried through, including the refurbishment of the Standerton wastewater treatment plant, which will be completed by October 2019. At least 6 of the 9 pump stations have been refurbished, whilst the other 3 are still being attended to, and the project for the rehabilitation of the sewer network in Rooikoppen is under construction. Work is currently in progress with the support of the Department of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation, COCTA, as well as the Department of Human Settlement in the province. In Sugalikwa, there were also sewer spillages that were reported in Extension 32, 33, and 34 in Wesselton, as well as in Extension 7. The Department of Human Settlement has unblocked and cleared the sewers in the network and refurbished some pumps to enable functionality of the networks towards the bulk pipeline. There has been a need identified for the upgrading of the sewer rising main towards the bulk pipeline en route to the wastewater treatment plant. The projects are currently under implementation, and the Department of Human Settlement is expected to complete before the end of the current financial year. In Komazi municipality, there has been some sewer spillage problems in Komati Port, which are caused by an old design structure which is no longer capable to cater for the current expanded demand due to the huge developments in the area. Malelane has also reported instances with spillages that are caused by localized flooding, electricity outages, or even inadequate maintenance. It, however, gives me pleasure, Madam Speaker, to report to this August House that whilst the challenges in Malelane have been completely resolved and maintenance is happening as expected, and no further complaints have been received recently about sewer spillages in the area. The municipality has been busy with the reconstruction designs for the networks in Komati wards to effect some upgrading and to ensure that the huge demand caused by progressive development is adequately catered for in that area. Other reported municipalities includes the sporadic sewer spillages in Steve Stewart pump station not connected to the rising main that discharges to the bulk pipeline en route to the wastewater treatment plant. There has been reports in Kondo, Ezipunzini, where the pumps are also to be connected to the bulk pipeline towards the wastewater treatment plant, as well as in Amersfoort in Dr. Pixlika Isakaseme, where the wastewater treatment plant pump stations and reticulation networks have to be fixed to curb the sewer spillages in the area. In the main, sporadic sewer spillages reported in municipalities are largely caused by the lack of maintenance of sewer infrastructure. This causes health hazards and agitation to the communities. There are plans in place to improve the situation, and all municipalities were directed to develop comprehensive infrastructure plans in order to cope with excessive developments and growth by instilling new infrastructure as well as the upgrading of existing infrastructure. Municipalities have also been directed to compile and fund their operations and maintenance plans so that the existing infrastructure functionality is always kept at optimal levels. We have also asked municipalities to recruit qualified process controllers and technicians in order to cope with the demands for asset management. These are some of the interventions that COCTA, Department of Human Settlement, and the National Department of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation are jointly addressing with municipalities. Thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do you have a follow-up question?
Honorable Speaker, ngiyabonga kakhulu ngithanda ukusho ukuthi lempendulo le isiniketwa umhlonishwa iyasigculisa and siyabonga ukuthi uhulumene kuwo wonke lama challenges la khona lapha kunema spillage khona kukhona lokwendekako ukuze kuphuculwe impilo yebantu. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Okay, thank you very much. Any follow-up questions from other members? Honorable Grove Morgan, I'm noting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is the sewer spillages that are occurring throughout the province and all 76 stained old wastewater treatment plants, they are polluting the fresh water. What has the government done to ensure this ceases, and to date, how many of the 76 have been rectified? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
As I have indicated, Honorable Speaker, which I would not want to go back, the interventions that we are doing thus far. We are well aware that the Rooikoppen in particular is contaminating the Vaal River, which to us is of paramount importance. Avoid the contamination of the Vaal River. But then also I would not, on my feet, give the exact number of the pump stations that we are working on. Perhaps it's, if it is permissible, we may go back and give you the accurate number, because I don't want to say 2, only to find that there's zilch or there's 3 or whatever. So I would prefer to give you a
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Okay, Honorable Setibe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Well, Honorable Premier, from where I'm sitting, most of the municipality, especially Msugalikwa, is misleading you. I'm saying this because I was there 3 days ago. The leakage that you are referring to is still not fixed. Based on that, can't you consider establishing a team in your office, in the office of the Premier, that will do physical verification of the work done and provide proper report? Because I don't think they are honest to you, and it's a breach of trust. You must not work with such people, because misleading a Premier is tantamount to betrayal. Because you
Thank
take
you,
a
Honorable
public
Sedibe.
platform
You have asked your
and talk in
question.
confidence, it's not like that.
Thank you
Like
very much.
I'm citing the example one, the living example from Sugalikwa. So a team, I think, will assist you. It's up to you. I'm raising it as a question, but also as a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Premier.
Okay, fine. Honorable Speaker, just before we came to the House, I had a meeting this morning whereby we were deliberating amongst the other issues, the very same issues that has to do with sewer spillages across the province. And I'm happy with the suggestion that he is raising. We agreed that we need to take a drive around all these projects that we are working on so that we can determine then the extent and the impact in which we are making as provincial government, and whether we should sort further intervention and what would be the role of municipalities in that regard, in so far as ensuring that they are co-funding in that regard. Of course, we know that SASOL has come into the fore to join hands with us as government to ensure that we address the issues. The issue of Msugalikwa, if you were to understand the problem as it ensued, it had to do with the diameters of the pipes that were there within the systems that were not even completed. That project was abandoned some years ago. As a result of that, that has led to the spillages. And over and above that, there was an issue of pump stations that were not there. Hence, that whole sewer network was flooding on the street and going down the river stream, which is something that we had to make sure that we are addressing along the line. So the issue, as I've indicated, that this is work in progress. We have addressed the issue of lining up the pipes. We've replaced the pipes that were there and fitted in the diameters that are fit for purpose, that will accommodate the households that are there. So what is still outstanding is to ensure that we put up the pump station that will assist to pull everything and take it to the raw sewer network system. So that is work in progress, and of course, we are definitely going to get to Msugalikwa as well, so that we assess the progress that we have made thus far and what is it that is still outstanding in that regard.
Well articulated. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. You may proceed.
The next question, Honourable Speaker, is from Honourable Mashilo. The transportation is the act of moving something from one place to another. It is crucial for communities to leave their residences to their destination. During the recent national and provincial elections in Governbegi, Leandra specifically, people's democratic rights were infringed due to the conflict between Leandra Taxi Association and Vukanini Taxi Associations relating to routes, and that the municipality was selling that Secunda taxi rank. The Electoral Commission was not allowed to conduct the registration process. On the basis of the above, can the Premier provide an explanation as to why this problem occurred? In response, Madam Speaker, the conflict was between Zamogutle Taxi Association, which looks after Leandra, and the Vukanini Taxi Association, which looks after Mbalenhle, over operations around the Highveld area, dates back to 2012. The two associations and the Governbegi local municipality managed to contain the situation by entering into an agreement that allowed the two associations to operate peacefully in the area. The conflict started again in March 2016 and in January 2019, where the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport and the municipality worked together to resolve the matter peacefully. It is alleged that the conflict was premised on who has the right to operate the from Leandra to Secunda route. Can the Honorable Premier explain whether this problem has been resolved? If not, why? And if yes, how has it been resolved? The department has commissioned an independent study to determine the economic viability of the disputed route in order to allocate the required number of vehicles. In order to foster a long-lasting solution, the department has appointed a task team to facilitate negotiations that will bring peace between the two associations. The department facilitated a process that led to the signing of the operational agreement, which stipulates the following: that Vuganini Taxi Association operations between Leandra and Secunda will be suspended pending the finalization of the negotiations regarding the operational agreement or the completion of the economic viability study, whichever comes first. The Zamoguhle Taxi Association to operate on the route between Leandra and Secunda. Zamoguhle Taxi Association to use loading facilities at Secunda Taxi Rank for the route between Leandra and Secunda operation. That Zamoguhle Taxi Association to second an official to monitor the operations in Secunda Taxi Rank together with Vuganini Taxi Association officials at the said taxi rank. What commitments can the Premier make that such a problem regarding fighting and conflict within taxi association will not happen, because when it happens, the entire population which rely on public transport is affected? The leadership of the taxi associations have the primary responsibility to ensure a peaceful operational environment in order for the taxi industry to make viable business and to ensure the safety of our people as they head to and from their destinations. I am confident that the leadership of Zamoguhle and Vuganini taxi associations are committed to peace, because they have made themselves available to attend all meetings convened to facilitate peace, notwithstanding the challenges that prevail in the area and their differing opinions. In an effort to resolve public transport conflicts expeditiously, the provincial government, through the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport, have developed a taxi violence management strategy and reference guide. The strategy comprises of legal, law enforcement, conflict resolution engagement, governance improvement, and taxi rank management components. The objectives of the strategy are to stabilize any volatile situation, enforce the law, and address the underlying causes in order to prevent a recurrence. However, it would appear that the taxi industry is still struggling to resolve their differences amicably and without violence. As government, we will continue to assist them with conflict resolution initiatives and hope that they in turn will see the benefit of negotiations instead of resorting into a violence. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Member, do you have a follow-up question? Honourable Mashilo.
No, I think Speaker, I'm fine. But of course, this issue of taxi is a worrying factor, because all the time there are sporadic problems. So I think the Premier
Follow up, Chief, not any other thing. Follow up question.
Speaker, ungabi decisive work will take this decorum of the House to a problem. You've got to be decisive. Remember, are important than all of us. What I'm raising, Honourable Speaker, or the pyramid is just yet to the law. Iyafuna ivele indaba hayi usidibe. But uzakwastobe decisive speaker. Ungayimuva naphambili. Otherwise the quorum of the house is over deteriorated.
Honorable Mashile, will you please
Uzalendo
just
speak.
a minute?
Yeah.
The Honorable Premier is out now.
Honorable Sidibe. Honorable Sidibe. I'm a new member, right? And I feel
Honorable Lachmi Naren, would you please talk to me?
sorry,
Not to
Honorable.
Honorable Sedip.
Apologies. Honorable Speaker, as a new member, I feel Honorable Sidibe is being very disrespectful. First, it was to women, and in this month, to bang desks and say time is up is not a very respected thing to do. I mean, if he wants attention, he must get it elsewhere.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Honorable
Hayi
Lachmi
thina
Naren.
zasithola ngaphandle mfana kithi. Hayi thina sikhona.
Okay.
Asithathe le George.
You can continue, Honorable Mashilo.
Yeah, ngiyabonga speaker. Ithi untonankulu le problem ama-taxi inkinga nase Dr. Moroka say more sporadic. So the strategy that we are applying, I hope it will assist the whole province in terms of us moving forward. Siyabonga, untonankulu.
Okay, thank you very much.
My sincere apology, Honourable Speaker. I think I agree with the MEC. We are quite aware of the problem of Dr. JS. The taxi associations
Sorry, Speaker,
have
Premier, which
approached us.
MEC? You agree with which MEC?
Oh, Honorable Sedibe, will you please
No,
talk?
Mashilo is not an
Former
MEC.
MEC.
Will you please talk via me? Okay. You can continue, Honorable Premier. It's a slip of tongue.
Maybe I like
You
it.
You
I
can
agree
continue.
with Honorable Member Mashilo. We are quite aware of the challenge of Dr. JS municipality. One of the taxi association has approached us, and we are working very closely with them. Hence, the problem started to raise its ugly head around election times. Hence, up to thus far, it has been kept because there are these constant engagements between government and them as well. And we hope that they will also amicably reach a solution towards the problem. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Are there any follow-up questions from other members? None. Thank you very much. You can proceed, Honorable Premier.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The next question is from Honorable N.G. Nyembe. It reads, the financial state of the municipalities has worsened during the 2017-18 financial year. The AG reports, as confirmed by the AG report, I think it should read like, Mpumalanga has only one municipality with a clean audit. This is a regression, Honorable Premier. However, there has been a lot of controversial news amongst the municipalities in Mpumalanga, with Mbombela and Steve Tshwete topping the list of the cat fight for the soul of the municipalities. Is there any hope that you will turn the tide around because of the politically charged environment in municipalities? In response, yes, I have assigned the MEC Copter to attend to the problems in the municipalities. As part of his 100 days program, he has embarked on a program to visit all municipalities across the province. He has already visited Dr. J.S. Moroka, Tabachwewi, Dr. Pixlika Isakaseme, and Likwa local municipalities. Remedial action plans will be developed for all these municipalities to address identified challenges. What plans do you have to alleviate the issues of the internecine strives and wars between the municipal managers and mayors, as it has reared its ugly head on the two municipalities? Honourable Speaker, we must indicate that we are not aware of any strife or any wars between municipal managers and mayors. Should any such matters be brought to our attention, so that as the Office of the Premier, in conjunction with the Department of COGTA, can address them definitely. And it's a matter that we will not leave unattended. Some of the issues besetting the municipalities require ethical, moral, and courageous leadership, not political leadership. How likely are you to intervene on this without your image not tarnished for political expediency? The legislation is very explicit on how to deal with any acts of malpractices and maladministration. The Constitution is also clear as to what is our relationship and responsibility as the provincial government towards municipalities. The Department of COGTA will act within the ambit of the law without any fear or favor. If circumstances require that you fire a political head in these municipalities, would you take such actions given the fact that some people might be politically senior to you? As government, we are guided by the necessary prescripts and an unwavering commitment to advance the interest of the people of Mpumalanga. We will act against any wrongdoing within the ambit of the law and in the interest of our communities without fear, favor, or any prejudice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do we have a follow-up question? Honorable Nyembe.
Thank you, Speaker. What we are talking about here, even in Likwa, the mayor and they were fighting each other. They even locked gates for them. What is the Premier gonna do with that? Thank you.
Honorable Premier.
Well, we are aware of the challenges that we are seized with in Likwa municipalities, challenges that we are addressing, working with the executive mayor. I've not seen them fighting amongst the two of them, the mayor and the MM. Yes, there are a bit of commotion amongst the councillors, which is what we know best, and it's a matter that we are attending to. And we are certain, seated where we are, that we are nearly towards finding an amicable solution towards the problem that is within that municipality. So we will babysit, of course, that municipality in ensuring that we bring back stability within the institution. And will not tolerate any wrongdoing by any councillor nor any official within the municipality.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Are you fine, Honorable Nyembe? Okay, thank you very much. Are there any follow-up questions from other members? Honorable Webb.
Madam Premier, the municipalities, all the municipalities in this province use ESCOM as a bank facility without a ceiling. Is there any intention whatsoever to force municipalities to live within their means? I haven't seen it anywhere. Is there any intention to do that?
Thank you, Honorable Webb. Honorable Premier.
Honourable Speaker, I think we must appreciate that our municipalities, in terms of their finances, they are depleted, and to an extent, some of them are constrained. By their nature, being in rural areas and given the state of the economy, they are not in a better position to generate or to collect as much revenue as they could possibly wish. That is amongst the other challenges that our municipalities assist with. Hence, there is so much reliance on grants for them to survive. So the interventions that we sought to institute within those municipalities are informed by the current economic situation that the municipalities assist with, and also the state of their affairs within the municipalities in terms of them having an ability or an ability to collect revenue. That comes with the hindrances that are informed by the economic status of each and every household within the municipality. So those municipalities relatively, they are incomparable with the municipalities that are within the cities. So it's so unfortunate, within the province, we only have municipalities that are 4 that we can quite comfortably say that they are afloat, they can to some extent manage their affairs. But the reality is the rest of the municipalities are not able to cope with what is at their disposal, not because of their own mistakes or their own making, but also it is exacerbated by the economic situation in which they find themselves operating in.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Any other question from members? Follow-up question? Honorable Sedibe.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Honorable Premier, I think we all know that the municipalities are the core face of service delivery. And all the problems we are having in the province emanates from the municipalities. Even the AG point to that as compared to the province. Corruption rob people of service delivery. The fact that most of the communities does not have water, roads, proper houses is because of corruption. It's not because there's no budget for that in the municipality.
What is the question, Honorable Member?
Our predecessor, Honorable Premier, came with a strategy, the previous Premier, to make all the municipal managers and the mayors to sign a blank check, so that if you don't deliver, you go. So, what is your own strategy as the new Premier to ensure that you keep corruption and you improve service delivery in all those municipalities? There's a situation in Dr. J.S. Morocco, I think you are aware. They even stole a grader and rented it in the mine, making their own money as
Honorable
official.
Sedibe, the
What
question
is that we are going to do? Thank you.
Please sit down. Honorable Premier.
I think the honorable member is well aware that as provincial government, we assist with the responsibility of supporting the municipalities equally as legislated. And part of that support will then determine as to whether are there the state of affairs of the municipalities first and foremost. And of course, if there are issues of malpractices within the municipalities that we are seeing, by all means, we are empowered in terms of the legislation to intervene in that regard. As you are well aware that already, as this administration, we've already intervened in 6 of the municipalities. We are working very closely with those municipalities, including the Dr. J.S. Morocco that you are talking about. We will be intervening very shortly. We are in that space, the MEC is there. We are working very closely with the municipalities, requesting the reports, the information, analyzing and assessing them so that we take a well-informed decision that sought to assist the municipality. We are not there as a punitive measure, but to make sure that how best can we turn around the situation. If there are issues of maladministration, we cannot tolerate that. We can't condone that. We need to take action there and there. So that is something that we are working on, and we are closely monitoring that. I am comfortable with the work that has been done thus far by the MEC, which will then inform the operational plan that says that how do we improvise and make sure that we come up with a strategy that will turn around the situation within those municipalities.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. You may proceed to question 6. Honorable Grove again, you will be standing in for Honorable Grove.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Premier, we welcome the comments you made to the State of the Province address, in which you stated that we would be tackling the issue of pollution in the province. With regards to the above, will the Premier please answer the following questions? How are you going to ensure that all mining houses and coal power plants adhere to the legislative prescripts, thereby protecting our environment? The legislative prescripts that regulates the activities and operations of mining houses and coal power plants are the primary mandate of the Department of Mineral Resources. However, the province plays a major role in these instances as a commenting authority for the mining applications submitted. Furthermore, the province through DADLIA participates in the Provincial Mining Committee, which seeks to address all environmental issues and conduct joint operation for compliance in mining areas, where Department of Mineral Resources is a leading department. Given the joint legislative concurrence between national and provincial government on pollution control, how are you going to enforce compliance to the prescribed legislative prescripts? The province, through the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land and Environment Affairs, has instilled and is monitoring the 5 air quality monitoring stations within the high priority areas of Nkangala and Garzibande. These stations provide scientific and credible air quality data and are managed by independent agency South African Weather Services. The province, through DADLIA, has further established an air quality monitoring forum comprised of provincial and local municipality officials and participation of the external stakeholders. The department continues to conduct joint compliance monitoring with national and local authorities to all industries and facilities that emits SO2, which is carbon dioxide, for compliance with environmental legislation and emission standards through environmental management inspectors. In addition, the province has established a working group forum on compliance monitoring and enforcement with the relevant departments, which are DMR, DWS, municipalities, SAPS, and Inkomati Catchment Agency, to address environmental pollution to the receiving environment. Through this working group, we have a plan to conduct joint roadblocks, compliance, and enforcement inspections. How will the Environmental Management Committee be constituted? The Environmental Management Committee is constituted by DMR as the mandated department. However, as a province, we have established a Quality Forum Committee, Climate Change Committee, the Waste Management Forum, and Compliance Enforcement Forum that is constituted by municipalities, academia, researchers. In terms of NEMA, there are a number of committees established to look at specific issues, including waste, air pollution, and climate change. We have decided to form a small committee comprising members of all these other committees, and they shall brief my office on the developments on climate change and other issues relating to mitigation and adaptation of climate change strategies. It is reported that air pollution caused about 650 deaths and hospitalized a further 117,500 residents in 2016. By when can we realistically expect recommendations made by the committee to be implemented? The province notes the impact of the polarization with the Department of Health, whilst we are also engaged in National Environment Department and municipalities. We are also engaging the two companies that have been identified as the leading polluters on how best can they limit air and water pollution in our province. Apart from the mines, all wastewater treatment plants are recently polluting our rivers. How are we going to enforce the National Water Act? In response, Madam Speaker, the Department of Water and Sanitation, the Mpumalanga Provincial Operations under the Directorate of Water Sector Regulation and Use is responsible for the following function: the compliance monitoring of wastewater treatment works, that is to monitor compliance to effluent standards, municipal bylaws, water use license conditions and regulations in compliance with the National Water Act of 1998. Water supply services and sanitation regulation that regulates provision of drinking water and the management of wastewater. The enforcement that ensures that set of actions, administrative, criminal, are taken against non-compliance. The Department of Water and Sanitation conducts monthly compliance inspection and annual assessment on all municipal-owned wastewater treatment plants. There is continuous monitoring on the 17 wastewater treatment works on the municipal-owned plants. 40 of these wastewater treatment works have been found to be non-compliant, with 24 wastewater treatment works found to be in a critical state in terms of the intergovernmental relations framework. DWS writes non-compliance letters to the affected municipalities as the form of continuous engagement aimed at improving the status. This has been prompted by DWS to institute intervention measures to alleviate pollution in terms of infrastructure upgrades and refurbishments. For financial year 2019-2020, the DWS Mpumalanga Provincial Operations has a budget for an intervention drive to upgrade the following wastewater treatment plants: Kinross, Delmas, Maviljan, Balfour, which is in the Baliseng local municipality. When all these avenues have directives with the intention to open criminal cases, is thereafter followed to enforce compliance. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Member, do you have a follow-up question? Honourable Grove Morgan.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My question, Honourable Premier, is: in 2018, leadership in Kendal Power Plant admitted to non-compliance to legislation due to faulty equipment. What has been done by our provincial government to ensure this compliance? Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Premier.
Well, Honourable Speaker, I must indicate that I'm not aware of the issue that the Honourable Member is raising. It's a matter that we can follow up and give the precise response. It might just as well that being dealt with out of my knowledge. You might find that it has not still been dealt with. So therefore, I would request that I be allowed an opportunity to go back and investigate on that one.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Grove, are you okay? Okay, thank you. Any other follow-up question from other members? None. Thank you very much, Honourable Premier. You can proceed to question 7 from Honourable Makaringe.
Question 7 has been asked by Honorable T.M. Makaringe. It reads thus. The long-standing problem of the dismissed workers at Umbaba Estate is still a great concern. Many attempts by different stakeholders, including the Office of the Premier, brought about little changes to this adverse situation. Is the Honorable Premier aware of this problem? The response is yes, I am aware of the challenges faced by the former Umbaba estate workers. What attempts were made to try and bring to rest the problems faced by the workers of this estate? In 2017, the Office of the Premier coordinated the profiling of the affected farm workers in an endeavor to address their plight. The purpose of the profile was to determine the type of interventions that government needs to provide to address issues affecting the dismissed farm workers. From the profiled workers, different needs were recorded and referred to provincial departments and other stakeholders for appropriate interventions. To date, 100 hectares of land has been donated for agricultural purposes by Chief Ngomane of the Hoi Traditional Council, and fencing has been erected. The process to debushing the 100 hectares is in progress and expected to be completed by end of October 2019. From this, 10 hectares has been allocated to former Umbaba workers. Dadlia is in a process of providing support such as drilling of boreholes, installing of irrigation infrastructure, and provision of production inputs in the current financial year. In addition, to date, 96 of 120 Umbaba workers completed training on crop production through the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. Registration of company entities for the intended beneficiaries is in progress. The Department of Rural Development and Land Reform is planning to assist 31 households that stand to benefit from the 1 hectare, 1 household program. From the 31 households, 15 households were identified from the Umbaba workers and the other 16 households from the community. Activities to be provided include installation of irrigation infrastructure and production inputs. Are all workers covered in trying to solve these problems? Currently, only former workers from the ambits of Kahoi are accommodated in this initial phase as we continue to engage other traditional leaders to donate land so that they may replicate this program across the province. If not, why? And can the Honorable Premier give us a way forward in this issue? The other farm workers are not included as the province is still engaging traditional leaders in an endeavor to avail more land to support the remaining former Umbaba workers interested in agriculture in their respective communities. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Member, do you have a follow-up question? Honourable Makaringe? Do you have a follow-up question? Honourable Makaringe, do you have a follow-up question to the Premier? Okay.
Don't have a question.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions from other members? Follow-up questions? Honourable Sedibe?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And thank you, Honourable Makaringe, for bringing this matter again into the attention of this House through the question to the Premier. Well, the answer is satisfactory, Honourable Premier. I went there, I've seen what you are talking about. I don't think even the official from Agriculture have misled you. The only challenge there is that the criteria that is being used to select these people for the training and for this household identified, the 31, it becomes a problem and it causes the fights among the ex-Umpaba workers, because there are too many, Honorable Speaker. There are 300 and something, and only 120 has been trained, and only 31 has been, in fact, in the 31, only 15 from them. 15 is from the community, which becomes a problem now. They welcome the program, the intervention by government for giving them land and empowering them to start their own business. I hope this government will also look for market for them so that they survive. That's a good initiative. That's a step in the right direction. However, the portfolio committee on agriculture, which I sit in, took a decision which was later endorsed in this house, that the Umpaba land where these ex-workers were fired, it must be expropriated without compensation. We took a decision here. And
What is your question, Honorable Member?
It's a question that I'm picking it very nice with the preamble. I want to know between the two, the decision that we took here that we expropriate the Umpaba land without compensation and give to the workers, and this new arrangement of the chiefs allocating land and everything, because as far as I know, once a decision is taken in this house, it must be implemented. And I think by then, in the 5th Parliament, the matter was supposed to be at the portfolio committee. Sorry, at the, what do they call it?
Honorable Setibe, what is the question to the Honorable Premier?
The question is, what happened to the decision that was taken in this house about expropriation of the Umpaba land, Roykat land, without compensation and giving it to the people of Umpaba? Eh? Yeah, I should took a decision here
Honorable,
in this house.
Honorable Setibe,
Yes.
please respect, because you have asked the question. I will just direct it accordingly.
Okay,
So
thank
there
you
is
for
a hand-
protection.
there is
Thank
a
you for
hand-
protection.
Okay, Honorable Shongwe.
No, ngiyabonga mhlonishwa Somlomo. Ngibonge nanga neconcern yamhlonishwa uSedibe ngoba iphathelene nabantu. Kodwa nje into engiyicelako ukuthi uma sibuza uPremier asimbuze umbuzo orelevant kuPremier. Uma simbuza ngama resolution of this house, then the member himself is the member of this house, and uPremier akana uphendula le umhlonishwa kufanele ahambe ayoyichecka in the speaker in the legislature if at the resolution of this house. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shongwe, the leader of government business. Honorable Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, ngihambisana nomhloniswa uShongwe ukuthi that question is not relevant to the Speaker. It's a question edila nge-NCOP. It's a question okukosa kuresponde i-NCOP kuyo. uPremier kufanele aresponde kuma-question ezinto ezenzeka kule province, ama-question ekufanele ukuthi a-executwe yi-executive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. That is in order. I think, Honorable Setibe.
Ngiyabonga. Well, my colleagues are partly correct, because
They are
the
correct,
Salanayo
not partly.
committee, and this is an MEC for agriculture. But where they are missing a point, I'm not demanding a resolution here. The resolution was taken. I'm asking which is which between the resolution that we took as the legislation committee, that land must be expropriated. Nale arrangement, Yabo Chief. That's what I want to know.
I think Honorable Setibe, Honorable Shongwe was correct to say that you are a member of the House, and you should have known about those resolutions that have been taken but not. Oh, Honorable Sedibe is now sitting down and is addressing the Honorable Speaker, and I'm also on the talking. Don't do that. As I've mentioned earlier on, that the honorable members are correct to say that you are a member, you said you are a member of the portfolio committee, and at first you say that the resolutions were taken in the portfolio committee. So that must be checked by the legislature to say that those resolutions have come to this sitting that you're talking about, because you have said portfolio committee, and at the end you have said the legislature, especially on the issue of expropriation of land without compensation. So I think that one, it needs us as the legislature to go and check it, not for the Honorable Premier. I think that is in order. You may proceed, Honorable Premier.
Thanks, Honourable Speaker. I think I want to align with what has just been said by the Chief Whip of the ruling party and the MSC. Indeed, if there are matters pertaining to national NCOP, I'm sure they are well vested to respond on those matters. But in the absence of that, we've got the responsibility. Honorable members would recall that we have commissioned an investigation, a study, as to what are the challenges within that Umbaba estate. And there were recommendations in that regard. And as provincial government, those recommendations that touches on us is precisely what we are busy investigating. As the honorable member is also attesting to it, to say that he has visited the Umbaba, what we are saying, he then confirms as to what is it that we are doing in that regard. The issue of the market, would there be a market? Yes, certainly there is a readily available market in a form of a GNP that we would like these members of Umbaba to partake into. The issue of training being provided to those that have already been allocated, perhaps maybe you are correct, Honorable Member, we will have to start with the other outstanding in terms of preparing them. But our idea was that as they complete their training, we must put it into practice without stalling it. Whilst we are still looking for yet another land to accommodate another crew, we then prepare them. As they come back, they are ready to plow. So with those expertise. Otherwise, sometimes if you go and study something today, the likelihood of you remembering it in the next coming 6 months, you might find that you've forgotten almost everything that you have learned. Whereas if you come back from school and put it into practice, you might excel. That's how we looked at it. But certainly, all the 300 plus, we will make sure that we prioritize them and we give them equal treatment. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Premier. We're now moving to question 8 by Honourable Skosana. Honourable Premier.
The question is from Honourable J.J. Skosana. The introduction of the government nutrition program, which is aimed at revitalizing agriculture in the province, is indeed a good story to tell. The program has created a market platform for emerging farmers to supply fresh produce products directly to government institutions like schools, hospitals, and prisons. Is the program pursuing its objectives? In response, yes, the GNP is pursuing its objectives, which are revitalizing agriculture and the agro-processing value chain, unlocking the potential of SMMEs, cooperatives, township, and rural enterprises, supporting the development of emerging farmers, and increasing local farmer production capacity in preparation for the commissioning of the Mpumalanga International Fresh Produce Market and its associated agri-hubs. How many of these small-scale farmers are benefiting from this program? At the time when the program was implemented by MEGA between 2017 and 19, 347 emerging farmers were supplying the GNP. Moving forward, the number of farmers supplying the GNP is expected to increase under the management of Dadlia. What positive plans are there in place to further improve on this program? The provincial government, through Dadlia, plans to further improve the program by implementing the following: leveraging on the existence of the agri-hubs, which are situated within easy reach by local farmers, encouraging farmers to supply directly to the agri-hubs, which will improve the farmers' product prices. Quality and quantities would be checked upon delivery to avoid disputes. The use of the agri-hub operators will reduce the payment turnaround time to at least 14 days, which will improve farmers' cash flow situation. What challenges do we have in successfully implementing this program, and how to resolve them? The province had then noted various challenges that were encountered when the program was implemented through MEGA. Through the lessons learned, the province has since transferred the program to be under the management of Dadlia to ensure that all identified challenges do not recur. Dadlia is in a process of multi-stakeholder review and development of a new targeted strategy. The strategy will, amongst others, ensure the following: farmers to deliver directly to the agri-hub, use of the farmer supporting unit as part of the linkage of farmers to the agri-hub. The agri-hub operator pays within 14 days after delivery. Thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Member, do we have a follow-up question?
Ngiyathokoza nomlomo wesibethamthetho. Ngithokoze nondunankulu ipendulo ayinikeleko ngemibuzo engiyenzileko. Uphendule kuhle, ngiyathokoza. Anginayo eminye imibuzo ukuragela phambili. Ngiyathokoza.
Thank you very much. Any follow-up question from other members? Honorable Sedibe.
Yeah, ngiyabonga. Speak. Yes, you see, Ndu, yokubhala question, marungana research, ungana background yasho, because I will be a follow-up question. Honorable Premier, are you aware that there are thousands or hundreds, let me say so, of the small-scale farmers that have not been paid their money for 2 financial years as we speak, together with the transporters, and they've been sent from pillar to post since this program was at MEGA until now, as has been moved to Dadlia, as I'm told. They have never been paid, and they've been frustrated because they are also owing some other people, the creditors, where they take their staffs and everything. And you know, small-scale farmers, they need the necessary support, because once you frustrate them with only one payment, it's a serious blow to them, to their business, because they make living there. I'm talking about 2 financial, some they have been owed, they are owed for 24 months, let me put like that, not paid. What are you going to intervene? I think the MECs are way up at that. But coupled with that, Honorable Premier, the GNP program, in the previous years we have seen problem. I don't know, maybe it will be better with the new arrangement, wherein they don't reach the children or the learners at schools because of boycotts, because of these 9 payments.
Honorable Member, sit down. There is a point.
A question will never be wrong. It's only an answer that is wrong.
Honorable Goman.
The order is that the honorable member is misleading the House. The information you have about the payment is not here nor there. You lied.
The- Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Sedip, are you done with your question?
Yeah, bengivala umbuzo wami. But remember, ngwele out of order because it's not the
Remember that you are given an opportunity just to raise one question. I just wanted to remind
No,
you,
my
you
question
have
was
already raised your question.
My question was simple. Bengibuza uPremier ukuthi uawe ngokuthi lama small scale farmers aneminyaka angabhadala asa kololo.
Okay.
Ngendlela ukuthi azangena ku strike angakhona ukumikisa nokudeliver lokudla.
Oh.
Abantwana bagcine ba-affecteke ezikolweni.
Okay, thank you
I
very
don't know
much.
what the aspiring Premier is saying. We must wait for the 7th Parliament or 8th Parliament.
Thank you very much for that question.
Point of order, Speaker.
Honorable Mlombo.
Honorable Speaker, besicela ukuthi before uPremier aphendula lo mbuzo, honorable member withdraw le statement asisho ekuqaleni ukuthi umhlonishwa akabuzi follow up question ngoba angenzanga research. I think that is not parliamentary. So Stella, I withdraw because members choose whether to do follow-up questions or not. You cannot dictate to them that they must do follow-up questions. So withdraw through the
Okay.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sedip, will you please withdraw that? No, mina nginote wena ukuthi you must withdraw what you have said. Honorable Sedibe,
No, it's fine.
will you
I
please
withdraw.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Point of order.
Honorable Skosan.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to alert you on the questions that are asking by Honorable Sidibe. Honorable Sidibe is always asking you questions of the 5th Parliament. He's talking about something in the 5th Parliament. Since we have started this 6th Parliament, he's not attending the meetings. Therefore, he's asking a question about agriculture. I ask questions. I never ask about labor matters. Then he came up with a new question that speaks about the payments of laborers and so on. And that was the issue
Withdraw
of
it,
the
Chief.
previous
Our
Parliament.
Nzangi
Can
research
you
is fine.
rule on
Okay,
that?
no, thank you very much, Honorable Skosana, for raising that. I think I will give the Honorable Premier to respond.
Honorable Speaker, I think I have indicated earlier on that we've got about 347 small-scale farmers, and therefore that cannot translate to thousands of farmers not being paid. So, yes, we also want to acknowledge the fact that in this new administration, during the Lekgotla, due to the challenges that we've encountered with this program whilst it was still in mega, we then subsequently decided to say that perhaps we must allocate it in an area that would be better positioned. So that department could not have been any other one other than the Department of Agriculture. The MEC then was fairly new. Hence, he is not aware because he has already paid off the outstanding amounts. There were outstanding amounts that were not being paid, and that matter has since been resolved. And if there are still other outstanding payments, we would request those small-scale farmers to come forward and forward those invoices so that we look at them, and certainly if they do warrant payment, we will accede to that. So that's, as things stands, we are now planning to move to the second phase of this program. Having learned from the weaknesses that were there, I think it would be easier for us to implement the second phase. Everything, when it starts, it will have its teething challenges, that you will encounter. Amongst them were precisely that. But we are comfortable seated where we are today, that we are making serious strides in that regard. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for an update and the correction. We are now moving to question 9 by Honorable Mkhatshwa. Will you please proceed, Honorable Premier?
The next question is from Honorable NP Mkhatshwa. Honorable Premier, in your State of the Province address, you mentioned the fact that you will establish a special Premier's Bursary scheme for PhD students within the next 100 days. And you will enroll 10 students per year, more biased towards young women and those under the age of 30 years. How far are you with this program? The bursary scheme will rest in the Department of Education as the strategic custodian of all matters that are related to education. The process of registering the bursary fund has commenced. Have you been able to get the students to seek employment after their first degree? Depending on the field of their studies, some PhD graduates will work within the planning and research units of our provincial departments, whilst others shall be accommodated by local universities and research institutions. What faculties were you pondering for these PhD students in their age group under 30 years? Because we never had a university of our own until the recent established University of Mpumalanga. Our province has lagged behind in areas like research, innovation, and creativity. This bursary fund will cut across all spheres of the curriculum, including agriculture, science, engineering, education, and health. We hope that most of the students will focus on these areas I have mentioned. Are the students going to be coming from the disadvantaged communities, or are they going to be coming from the wealthy families? The focus will be on students from disadvantaged families. Do you think this program will be feasible given the rate of dropouts at university by the students? There are more than 200,000 students graduating every year, and 70% of them are Africans. Of those, some will go on and complete their honors and masters. This bursary scheme will encourage those who wish to further their studies to do so and complete their postgraduate degrees so that they qualify for this bursary. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do you have a follow-up question?
Councillor, Honorable Speaker, ni hleketa ku Honorable Premier I hlamule ti-question ta mehe hi ndlela ya kahle. Na khensa.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other follow-up questions from other members? Honorable Khove, Morgan.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question to the Honorable Premier is, would these students be studying in South Africa or in another country? If in another country, why? And could you please give us a detailed report on the costs, more or less? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Khove. Honorable Premier.
Well, I cannot deduce and I can't dictate for a person where to go and study. For as long as they meet the set criteria, be it that number one, they are women, they are under the age of 30 years. If they are boys, they should be under the age of 30 years. 30 years, they must be coming from a disadvantaged families. They must be Africans in the mains. So those students would be prioritized. Of course, we've got well-renowned institutions within the country. We'll encourage them to enroll there by all means. But equally, we cannot negate the fact that we do have students that are undergoing studies in Russia or anywhere elsewhere within the country. Just now, we've just launched the oncology ward in Rob Ferreira. If certainly amongst these students there are those that would want to pursue a career in oncology. We've been to Russia, we've seen quite a number of institutions that are specializing and they're doing exceptionally well. Why should we not afford them an opportunity to take advantage in those countries? So each case basically will be looked upon based on its merits.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Any other follow-up question from other members? Honorable Sedibe.
Thank you, Speaker. Sizosebenza vele la siyobuza until the last question because semsebenzini.
Ask a
Uma
question,
sizawundi
please.
emhlangano nisenkingeni. And then, Honorable Premier, it's a good idea, I must be honest. But the approach is wrong. We envy education, we love education, we like what we do. My only problem is that we have a lot of students who need this money to further their studies. And research will tell you that most of the postgraduate, especially those that are going for PhD, they already have masters and most of them are working. So which we switch, because at least we must consider those new matriculants that want to go to university, because when the year begins, you have a lot of them that does not have bursaries, does not have money to register at university.
What is your question, Honorable Member?
My question is, why not prioritize the ones that have no degree or postgraduate altogether, and leave those that have postgraduate degrees to be on their own, because at least they have a basic, they can do something on their own. And then we start afresh those that have nothing. As we have mentioned that you prefer those that are coming from the poor background and so forth. You can't take me
Thank you very much.
with a
The
master's
question-
and give me a bursary to do a
Honorable
PhD.
Member,
It
we've
does
heard
not
your
work. Yes.
question. Let us give the Honorable Premier an opportunity to answer the question.
Honourable Premier, I think, Honourable Speaker, I think we must indicate that as a government, we do offer bursaries to undergrads. It's something that is there. This is an exceptional case, which is informed by innovation, research that has to be undertaken within the province. It would be nice to have our own young children who are so enthusiastic. Yeah, thank you, Umzwili, to go and further their studies. Part of the requirements for someone to be enrolled for a PhD might be work experience. Whether you are at work or you are out of work, it's immaterial for as long as you meet that criteria. This is an exceptional bursary that we want to offer our children to further their studies, because we need that. For us to say that we've been underprivileged for quite some time as the province. We never had our institutions of learning. If you were to go in other provinces, how they're advancing because of solid, strong research capacity, which is not generated within the institution, but it's been acquired through the students. What they do normally, they would fund the university, get those students to undertake through their thesis, through their research programs, the topics that governments shall have proposed that they are problematic to them, and go out there and find solutions for government for implementation. We want to encourage that culture as well as province. Let's take advantage of our university, make the best out of it. Hence, we are coming up with the exceptional bursary that will be targeting those children with masters, those children with honors who are unable to further their studies up to their PhD level.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. We're now moving to question 10 by Honorable Rove Morgens. You can proceed, Honorable Premier.
The question is from Honorable T.M.J. Grove Morgan concerning the debt book for all municipalities in the province. Will the Premier answer the following questions? As of June 2017, the total amount owed to the municipalities in our province was 8.4 billion, and of which 6.4 billion was projected to be written off. Has this write-off happened yet? A correction should be noted that as of June 2017, the total amount owed to municipalities was an amount of 9.3 billion as per the audited annual financial statements of 2017 and 18, and not 8.7 billion as referred to by the honorable member. On June 2018, the outstanding debt for municipalities was an amount of 11.6 billion as audited annual financial statements for 2017-18, and of which 7.6 billion was budgeted by municipalities as provision for bad debts. If yes, what was the total amount of bad debt which municipalities in our province has written off? The amount of debt that were written off during 2016-17 financial year was 418 million as reported in their financial statements. How many years of debt was this? And what has provincial government done to improve debt collection in the previous years? The debt in municipalities accumulated over a number of years. To unbundle this debt is an impossible task, as the financial management system categorizes all debts above 365 days under one category. Some municipalities inherited the debt from the period prior 1994. Municipalities like Chief Albert Lituli inherited debt from the towns like Empuluzi, Egulindeni, and Elukwatini, which came from the self-government territory. The provincial government implemented various forms of interventions and support to assist municipalities in addressing the growing debt problem. Some of the interventions includes the following support: establishment of the debt task team to support municipalities with collection of debt, assist municipalities with the review of credit control policies, development of a municipal revenue management strategy and action plan, develop standards operating procedures, and provide training to all municipalities on revenue management. Support municipalities with data cleansing and reconciliation between municipal valuation rolls, deeds office data, and municipal master billing files. Training on the revenue value chain, as all departments within the municipalities are interdependent and should work together. Given that municipalities' debt is constantly increasing, why has this provided futile? Especially when you consider that Emalahleni alone is owed half of this amount. The provincial government was and is instrumental in guiding and supporting municipalities towards improved financial management. The problem is attributable to the following: the informal transaction on selling of properties contributes and affects the correctness of the data on the municipal billing systems. Lack of an integrated approach in revenue management value chain, integrity of billing information, failure to replace faulty defective meters, incorrect meter reading resulting into incorrect billing. On external factors, we have encountered the growing population and informal settlements. The socio-economic challenges such as the high level of unemployment directly affects the indigent status of consumers and therefore contributes to the challenges with regards to collection of municipal debts and the high inflation rate, which is eroding the purchasing power of consumers. Lastly, what amount was owed to our municipalities in December of 2018, current as well as accumulative? For the period ending December 2018, the outstanding municipal debt as reported on the local government database of National Treasury was reported as 12.6 billion, with 419 million of the debts being current. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do you have a follow-up question? Honorable Grove.
Thank you, Honorable Premier, for the response. I just have one last question is the departments that are owing the municipalities, that are government departments, how are you going to address that issue? Because they are contributing to the municipalities' failures. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Premier.
On that one, Honorable Member, we don't compromise. As provincial government, we've got the team from Treasury that is monitoring the invoices and ensuring that the departments, the municipalities are paid timeously. However, we must indicate that municipalities have indicated a bit of frustration with some of national departments that are operating within their space. And therefore, it becomes a bit difficult for us to intervene, but if we do have interministerial engagement at national level, from time to time we'll raise those issues on their behalf to make sure that all of us, we are adhering. I must indicate there is concerted effort and commitment even at the national level to ensure that they do service their account as and when they come. But with provincial government, we don't compromise.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Any other follow-up questions from other members? None. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. You can proceed to question 11 from Honorable Lakshmi Narain.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The question is from Honorable M. Lakshmi Narain. The foot and mouth disease is now under control in South Africa. This disease is contagious and causes lameness and reluctance to eat in affected animals. The disease was discovered in Limpopo, which is our neighboring province. Are there any signs of the outbreak of this disease in Mpumalanga? In Mpumalanga, there have been no clinical signs of foot and mouth disease detected. The province continued with inspection at deep tanks, inspection kraals, auctions and farms on regular intervals. Any suspected cases are followed out and cleared. How does this disease originate? The foot and mouth disease is naturally carried by buffaloes in the infected zone in the Kruger National Park. The main source of infection is when buffaloes intermix with cloven-hooved animals such as cattle, sheep, goats, and other wild animals. Buffaloes usually mix with cattle during break-in fences from the Kruger National Park, like during flooding. Once infected, cattle can transmit the disease from one animal to another. The disease is highly contagious amongst animals. What measures are in place to prevent the outbreak of this disease in our province? The following measures are being carried out in the province to prevent the outbreak. Surveillance, clinical inspection, and serological surveillance is done in protected and high surveillance zones. For suspected cases, immediate follow-up, inspection, and sampling for testing is done. Samples are urgently transported to Onderspoort Veterinary Research for diagnosis. Movement control is enforced, illegal movements traced, and offenders prosecuted, especially in high-risk movements. Awareness is conducted through information dissemination to officials for further distribution to farmers at deep tanks, inspection crawls, auctions, and etc. Vaccinations, the vaccinations are done regularly on the protected and high surveillance zones. Are there any other annual animal disease in the province? If yes, where and how is this managed? To date, the province is affected by mainly African swine fever disease on pigs. The Mpumalanga outbreak is mainly in Kangala, affecting Victor Kanye in Delmas and Butleng, and Dr. J.S. Moroka in Siabuswa local municipalities. The ASF is a disease affecting pigs and transmittable from wild pigs, soft ticks, and other infected pigs. Affected pigs have a high mortality rate, and other signs may be hemorrhages, fevers, listlessness, inappetence, and etc. Dudley, in conjunction with the South African Pork Producers Organization, destroyed all affected pigs and buried the carcass with lime. SAPO is also supporting farmers with compensation for their lost livestock. The killing of pigs in the affected areas to eliminate the disease. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me thank the Premier also for the response, and I don't have any further questions.
Thank you very much. Any follow-up questions from other members? None. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. We're now moving to question 12 by Honorable Masilela. You can proceed, Honorable Premier.
The question is from Honorable MC Masilela. Honorable Premier, the Department of Water and Sanitation has allocated 18 million to Dr. J.S. Moroka Municipality to address the water shortages. This municipality, together with the Bushbuck-Rich Municipality, are the most affected when coming to droughts year by year. How far is the water challenge in both these municipalities? In response, in Dr. J.S., the water challenge is still at its worst due to the Mkhombo Dam registering low levels of 0.3% as reported recently. The Veltervrede treatment plant is currently supplied through Ras Defender Dam, which is also at around 49% full. This has inevitably presented a challenge for inconsistent supply, which has led to frequent disruptions within the current supply network. Options have been assessed to improve consistent supply within the municipality. These are listed as follows. The implementation of water conservation and demand management by the municipality. This project is aimed at addressing leakages and pipe bursts through maintenance in order to cap excessive water distribution losses. Refurbishment of the irrigation canal water pipeline, which abstracts water from the Loskop Dam to augment the Mkhombo Dam with at least 7 megaliters per day as total bulk supply. This project, though it provides limited additional water supply to Mkhombo Dam, shall ensure that the municipality retains an alternative source of water from the existing line that connects with the Loskop Dam. Construction of the bulk water supply line from the Loskop Dam to Tembisilihani local municipality. This project is aimed at dedicating bulk supply for Tembisilihani local municipality, which in itself shall cause a relief for Dr. J.S. local municipality, which is currently supplying, amongst others, the Tembisilihani local municipality and the Sikukuni district municipality in the Limpopo province. Whilst this becomes a long-term project put in place, it nevertheless ensures that Dr. J.S. Moroka local municipality retains its bulk supply within its area of jurisdiction with a lesser burden to further supply the neighboring Tembisilihani local municipality. The department responsible for water and sanitation at national, in collaboration with the national and provincial disaster management centers, have already allocated an amount of 18 million from the Disaster Drought Relief Fund for the drilling of boreholes as the temporary measure for water supply in the area. Whereas in Bushbuck-Rich local municipality, the crux of the challenges were attributable to the handling of the bulk supply in the municipal area. It must be recalled that rainwater had to step in in the previous years to assist the municipality to maintain a consistent supply of water throughout all its villages in the 11 regions. The advantage of Bushbuck-Ridge local municipalities is that they have a stable water resource through the Inyaka Dam, which has been above 80% full and quite resilient to the changing weather conditions due to known adverse climate challenges. The only matter that crippled the municipality was the unreliable bulk supply due to the number of challenges identified in the bulk networks. Rainwater's responsibility were to predominantly operate the Inyaka water treatment plant and the bulk supply network to ensure stable and reliable water reticulation to all households that are connected to infrastructure. The services rendered by Rainwater unfortunately came to a price which was no longer affordable to the municipality. As a result, there has been an accumulation of outstanding debts which the municipality could no longer afford. In response to this challenge, the municipality conducted a Section 78 assessment in terms of the Municipal System Act in order to determine whether the municipality could take over the function of bulk supply and operate it by itself using its internal staff capacity and budget. Council received an assessment report during the 2017-18 financial year and had resolved that it would no longer have to supply water through rainwater, but should look at options of managing this function on its own as a water service authority. The contract was therefore terminated at the end of June 2019, and the municipality took over the supply of water from the 1st of July 2019. Arrangements were made with Rainwater to continue supporting the municipality in identifying possible bottlenecks, challenges relating to intermittent supply, as well as to ensure that all networks and reservoirs are consistently supplied. The Department of COGTA and the National Department responsible for water in the province are working together with the municipality to ensure that challenges that are identified dealt with accordingly. Monthly reports are submitted in order to monitor the situation and to identify possible challenges that have to be eliminated. How efficient is Mkhombo Dam in Dr. J.S. Morocco and Inyaka Dam in Bushbuck-Ridge in relation to water delivery to our people in the respective areas? Madam Speaker, as I've already responded to above, the two municipalities may not have entirely resolved their challenges. However, progress on the ground indicates that there are interventions already underway and in some instances have turned around the dire situation of lack of water in some villages. The Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant, Municipal Infrastructure Grant, and the Water Service Infrastructure Grant are collectively funding intervention projects that are meant to improve the state of water supply in these two municipalities. Currently, the Inyaka Dam, which supplies Bushbuck-Ridge, is relatively in a good position, whilst Mkhombo Dam has very low levels of water capacity. What measures are there in place to redeem this long-standing water challenge? Again, Madam Speaker, as I have mentioned, there are already projects on the ground implemented through grant funding that are meant to turn around the situation and to improve the state of water supply. The Department of COGTA shall be coordinating with the district municipality and the Department of Human Settlement, Water and Sanitation to ensure proper reviews of water master plans and the water service development plans so that the infrastructure that shall be put in place shall cater for, amongst others, the expanded human settlements as well as growth in economic activities in the said municipalities. When can we expect proper delivery of clean water, especially in the above municipalities? Madam Speaker, the issue of water quality management services as one of our priorities as government in general, is one of our priorities in general. The blue and green drop certification have not been to our satisfaction due to issues related to lack of institutional capacity, poor classification of process controllers, lack of registration of water treatment and wastewater treatment plants, lack of risk and safety abatements plans in the said water schemes. Whilst there has been recognition of the challenges as mentioned earlier on, these have not drastically influenced negatively the drinking water status supplied to communities. This means that the quality of water has been supplied, has at least met the minimum requirements in terms of the South African national standards. For human consumption, in cases where such quality has been poor, corrective action and monitoring is implemented. We shall ensure that all our municipalities improve the standards in order to claim better results for the blue and green drops certification. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Member, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Nganelisekile ngetimpendulo leti Honorable Premier atiletsile. Loku ngitsandza ukugcugcuzela ukuthi Honorable Premier must be closer to the two municipalities and make sure ukuthi bantu bethu bayawathola amanti ngoba amanti ayimpilo. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu, Honorable Member. Ngabe kukhona amanye ama-member follow-up questions? Honorable Grove Morgan.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My question to the Honourable Premier is, what measures do you have in place to deal with illegal connections, especially on the main water lines? Because the illegal connections are the ones that are preventing water to reach the water sources. Thank you, Honourable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier.
It's a very good question, but very difficult to respond to. You know, it's a challenge that we are seized with. And unfortunately, it's been caused by the very same communities that we are supplying water to. However, there has been interventions that we're working on with municipalities and the Department of Water at National through the program called War on Leaks. We have encouraged the local communities, we've taken them for training, sort of like an artisanry training, so that they're equipped with the necessary skills. As and when this happens within their communities, they should be better empowered to make sure that they address those challenges. And they've been provided the stipends, of course, but it is incumbent upon all of us as responsible citizens to make sure that we don't drill holes in the main bulk pipeline, because it affects the supply of water, the water pressure, it's compromised as a result of that. It's an appeal that we want to make to all the communities to make sure that they don't drill on the main bulk pipeline. They must wait their turn. Yes, we understand that they are running out of patience because water might not be reaching them within the expected time. But then, as and when they drill this line, they are reversing the gains, which then puts us 50 steps backwards, other than us having to move forward. So we will, of course, work with the municipalities to ensure that we monitor that, and of course the community as well, if they could be the police, and make sure that they bar people from doing this. That would assist us quite tremendously in making sure that we fast track and accelerate the provision of water.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Honorable Sidibe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Well, what I know is that the Premier is not a mayor, Honourable Masilel. You can't expect water from the Premier. You've got your own managers and mayors there. If they are busy squandering that money, is not, I don't think this is the responsibility of the Premier must provide support and monitoring together with COGT to all the municipalities. Honorable Premier, given all these challenges in these municipalities, almost all of them, don't you think that it will be advisable to only focus on municipal infrastructure and maybe other developmental and impactful investment as a solution?
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
I think, Honorable Speaker, as this provincial government, I think we must be commendable for going extra mile in ensuring that we assist our municipalities with the provision of bulk infrastructure, which necessarily it's not something that is within our scope, but understanding the integrated governmental responsibility that we assist with. Our communities have reached a point whereby they can no longer differentiate whether this is a province or this is the municipal competency. We are being put in one pot. And as provincial government, when we visit municipalities, we come across these challenges. We can't fold our arms. We've got the responsibility to ensure that we provide services to our electorate. So hence, in that regard, we deem it fit as provincial government, where we can, we must intervene. Notwithstanding the fact that we do have our co-mandate that we also have to service, which in the main we have to make sure that we provide quality education and healthcare facilities. And that is dependent on the minimum resources at our disposal. But understanding that we are working in an integrated approach, hence we are there in the municipal space to assist them. Certainly, we do encourage private investor initiative. Hence, as we do that, we do request the companies that are operating within our space to also contribute towards those initiatives. And we are grateful. Companies like Sasol are coming to the fore in making sure that they assist to alleviate the challenges that we assist with, because there has the potential of causing diseases, because they are a health hazard to our communities, which will yet put more strain on our health budget. So whether we like it or not, we've got that responsibility to make sure that we address those challenges.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. We have come to the end of the question time. In terms of Rule 3 of the rules and orders, the Premier should submit the responses in writing for the remaining questions that have not been responded to at this sitting. The responses will be circulated to all the members of the legislature. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Singabo mama, siyaticapha ngawe, siyakukhulekela. As you steer the ship towards the correct direction, siyazibongela kakhulu to be led by your good service. Thank you very much. We are now moving to another item. The Secretary shall read the third order of the day.
Order number 3, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. 3.1, unannounced oversight visit held in the Nkomazi local municipality, Ehlanzeni district, 30 July 2019, Mahusha Shongwe Nature Reserve, MTPA. 3.2, oversight visit held in the Dr. J.S. Muroka local municipality, Kangala district on 1st August 2019, Mdala Nature Reserve, MTPA. 3.3, unannounced oversight visit held in the Nkomazi local municipality, Ehlanzeni district, 30 July 2019, Mkhatshwa Small Industrial Park by Mega. 3.4 oversight visit held in the Dr. J.S. Moroka local municipality, Kangala district on the 1st of August 2019, Mpebato Brick Making Cooperative by Mega.
Thank you very much. I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, Honorable M. Lakshminarayan, to table this report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to table the report on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism.
Thank you very much. I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable M. Lakshminarayan. Agreed to? As so agreed. Thank you very much. The Secretary shall read the fourth order of the day.
Order number 4, consideration of reports of the Portfolio on Human Settlements, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. 4.1, oversight visits conducted at Kwazamogutle, Extension 8 Hendrina by the Department of Human Settlements. 4.2, oversight visits to Newtown projects, Project Water and Sanitation Bulk Infrastructure and Sheldon Water Reservoir at Steve Chwete and Tembisile Hani local municipalities. Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs.
Thank you very much. I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlement, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Honorable MC Masilela, to table these reports.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Ms. Lela has just gone to the bathroom. I tabled the report on her behalf for adoption by the Honorable House. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am informed that there is no debate on this report. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt this report as tabled by Honorable Mlombo on behalf of Honorable Masilela. Agreed to? Yes, so agreed. The Secretary shall read the fifth order of the day.
Order number 5, consideration of the reports of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development. 5.1, oversight visits conducted at Kwazamugutle Community Health Center, Middleburg Hospital, and Kwaggafontein Community Health Center, Department of Health. 5.2, oversight visit conducted at Arise and Shine, ECD Center by the Department of Social Development.
Thank you. I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development, Honorable J.L. Tabete, to table these reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ngisukuma necela indlu ukuthi yamukele le report njengaloku seyethuliwe.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable J.L. Tabete. Agreed to? And so agreed. The Secretary shall read the day.
Order number 6, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Culture, Sport and Recreation. 6.1, oversight visit at Steve Chwete Boarding School at Mkulu Combined School conducted on 31 July 2019, Department of Education. 6.2, oversight visit at Klonipa Secondary School, Papamanis Primary School, and Dumeleni Secondary School at Tembisile Hani, local municipality, conducted on 1 August 2019, Department of Education. 6.3, oversight visits conducted at Cromwell Public Library in Steve Chwete local municipality and Khodwana Cultural Village in Tembisile Hani local municipality, Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation.
Thank you. I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Culture, Sports and Recreation, Honorable Mkhatshwa, to table these reports.
Thokozile umkhulumi ebangeni lekomiti ngiphakama nokuletha umbiko endlini ngaphansi kweshamthetho ukuthi yamukele.
Thank you. I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt this report as tabled by Honorable Ndlope. Agreed to? And so agreed. The Secretary shall read the seventh order of the day.
Order number 7, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 7.1, unannounced oversight visits to projects in Komazi local municipality. 7.2, oversight visit at Dr. J.S. Moroka local municipality.
Thank you. I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land, Environmental Affairs, Honorable T.M. Makaringe, to table these reports.
I rise to table the report to the House for adoption.
Thank you. I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt this report as tabled by Honorable T.M. Makaringe. Agreed to? And so agreed. That brings us to the end of today's business. You are all requested to remain standing at your places until the procession has left the chamber. The House is adjourned until the 12th of September 2019 at 14:15 in this very same chamber.